Greetings guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Monette and this is my channel, Involved with Monette. For those of you that are new here, I am a professional intuitive empath and I want to thank you so much for inviting me into your lives, your homes, and hopefully your hearts. This message is so important. If you've never watched any other video of mine, this is the one I want you to watch all the way through, because it has life-saving information in it for you. We're going to be talking about some new skill sets. We're going to be pushing our intuition to its furthest boundaries. And we're going to be talking about things that are sinister, insidious, and uncomfortable. And we're going to be talking about how you have a pantheon of spirit team, angels, ancestors that are guiding you. Loving elementals that are guiding you. Because there's other work on this earth for you to do than to always be in pain or to always be dealing with the energy vampires that are going to be attracted to you. We're going to talk about how things may start one way and end a different way, and how someone that is dispatched in may come in with really honest intentions, but what is the adage? That sometimes our light will irritate people's demons. That is the truth. We're going to talk about why it's important to listen to the warning signs and to read all the colors of the wind like Pocahontas, to read the animal totems, to listen to all of the imagery and symbolism that you get, and how you can increase your shaman skills and become a modern day shaman. You don't need to travel to the jungles of Brazil, though if it's a calling for you and you want to do a little ayahuasca down there, I highly recommend. 10 out of 10 if you can deal with the spiders. And we're going to talk about arachnids too, and their cousins, because we have a great spiritual work to do. I always say to you guys that I don't bring you anything that I haven't walked through, and the reason that I am able to maneuver in the way that I do is because I listen. I listen, and I document and I pay attention when they are sending messages through, when I'm in my own potentially dangerous or toxic situations that could derail me for whatever reason. And I can't wait for you guys to apply this to your life. And if you have applied it to your life, I would love for you to write me an email if you feel comfortable doing so. And I would love to read it here and teach what you learned and what you know. Because I'm not the only teacher here. You did not go through whatever you went through, whatever degradation, despair, or drama, to let it just die in you. You also, my sweet empath and collective, have spiritual elevation and healing work to do for us. So, like any good classroom, we're going to share our snacks. And I got a good little couple of morsels for you today. And so if you feel so inclined, please give back. That's reciprocity, and that is the empath way. All right, we're going to get right into it. I had, you guys hear me talk all the time about twin flames and soulmates and all that stuff. Now, I want to explain that I think twin flames are your catalyst to your spiritual awakening. It's incredibly toxic, painful. You usually don't stay with them, blah, 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 blah. And now we have toxic-ass twin flame university. That's a whole nother shenanigan in and of itself. But I do know that we have all kinds of soulmates that come in. We have platonic soulmates. We have romantic soulmates. We have, a friend could be a soulmate. A family member could be a soulmate. A coworker could end up being a soulmate. Someone that gives you their kidney could be a soulmate. You just don't understand the beautiful intricacies that are happening in the spirit realm, because we have all of these lessons to learn, or I just said to earn. Someone had something to earn. So we have all of these lessons to earn. I keep saying earn. You earn your next level up and your next ascension is what they're having me channel right now. So when your spiritual growth happens, you will go through these tests. Everyone's tested all the time. And as a teacher myself, I know that the people in my life could be sick of me like, Jesus Christ, is everything a test on that? Well, I'm not saying anything to them that doesn't happen to me. I get tested all the time. And we're going to talk about the reality. If you're here, you did not see my face on the thumbnail. You saw images. And those images are documented real images that my angels gave me as they were letting me know that a situation was reaching a crisis point and that I had to get out as fast as I could go because I was about to get swallowed. Have you ever been swallowed? Now, if you guys don't know what that's from, the way that they did this, when I tell you guys, the magic of spirituality, the way that my angels interwove all of this in the most delicious way for me, that it's something that I can laugh about and teach. I am on bended knee. I am so grateful. They even made it so that things that were inside jokes or funny things between me and the person that I was having this experience and lesson with, and it wasn't all calculated and done on purpose, but they would bring me back to it as I was going through it, and they were like, yeah, we put that there in place. And there was a time that we were bantering about T.D. Jakes, who was revealed allegedly to have been part of Diddy's sex parties and whatever, and he had a sermon that he preached where he said, have you ever been swallowed? And T.D. Jakes kind of has this like southern accent, and the way he said it, you know, what people of culture will do, we remixed it. So it became a song because people were kind of making fun of it and whatever. And I remember me and this person laughing honestly and genuinely about it because it was ridiculous and it was funny and it was very prescient in the moment as we were talking about some pop culture stuff. But wow, when I show you, and when I say I'm going to show you because there's a short that I will attach, I'm going to have several things for you guys so that you can see the journey that I've been on and understand it from a more esoteric side, because you can't always get a million readings. You can't always contact someone like me. You will have to depend solely on your intuition because that's how it is supposed to be. And what you will realize is that you've been in a test the whole time, actually. And the test, I was in a test. My angels were like, are you going to repeat a cycle? Are you going to go through another toxic cycle with another toxic person who was like hoodwinking and bamboozling? And maybe didn't come in with that intention, or maybe they absolutely did. But you're not going to stick and stay and find out. Now, I'm going to give you some context for this. I was in a cult many years ago, and I remember saying to the cult leader, because my intuition has never failed me, even though I was in the cult. See, that's the thing. You see how that feels contradictory? I was in a cult, but my intuition didn't fail me. Well, right away, literally when he was driving me over from the place where I used to live to the next state to be part of the cult, we stopped at a McDonald's, and he had a cataract glint in his eye, and I will never forget. And I was like, is this a cult? And with that cataract glint that hit the sun just right, because the devil is a liar, he said to me, if it was, would I tell you? Run! You know that like cue the meme where it's like, boom, 2, 3, 2, run. That's what I should have done. And this is why I'm teaching this to you, and this is why this is one of my favorite lessons that I have ever learned, because if you apply this to your life, it will save your life. I am not exaggerating. It will save you from so much heartbreak, so much weirdness, so much rejection, so much low vibrational cleansing. Yes, empaths, we are the kings and queens of transmuting energy, of rectifying a situation, of teaching a lesson, all that stuff. But ain't nobody got time for that all the time. And if you listen, if you listen, and if you watch Riders on the Storm, and you pay attention, you will never be blindsided or caught off guard again, and you will be able to be two-stepping, step. Oh, we can't see him. Side to side. A lot of people don't listen to their intuition with him. Both things are true. Incredibly talented, absolutely depraved. And that is also part of the message. Both things can be true about some of the energy vampires and people that come your way. Incredibly charming, interesting, whatever. Also, the other part that would make you never better, but always unwell and in your lowest vibration until they sucked you dry. Have you ever been swallowed? The angels don't lie. I had an encounter that I was supposed to have. I don't think it was an accident. I don't think I misread it. People were dispatched in, and we were viscerally connected because we both had some learning to do. We had some explaining to do. Now we got some explaining to do. Well, there's no explaining actually. But we had to learn. I'm here, Lucy, Lucy. But we had hijinks. We're up to foot. That's why I'm channeling Lucy, because I always think of Lucy and hijinks. I love Lucy. The imagery that's on the screen, I should put how it started and how it's going. This person was dispatched into my life to teach me about human design, period. That's it. My focus, my attraction, my interest, all of that waned once that lesson happened. If I really reflect and think about it, you know? I physically remember not feeling the same energetically. But as any good old connection will be, if it's a test, there'll be other things that pull you into the undertow. There was something that I understood about her and there was something that she said. She said, I really want to go deep. And I really like the idea of that. I was like, I've been waiting, girl. And the reason that I'm telling you guys this is because I need you to understand that your ego, your own, when I talk about where your demons lie, it can get you into the dark side or into some trouble or into some fun, but you need to know who you are. And so I have the deepest desire, it's literally part of my human design, now I understand it so much better, to figure out the puzzles and the mysteries of the world. I have such an interest in all things spiritual and esoteric. Always have, many lifetimes with this. And so, and I desire to have depth and continuity and deep exploration in every connection that I have. It is what makes me good at my job as a intuitive empath with you guys. Because it's not just that I'm good at my job and I'm good at my job and oh, goody for me. What makes me good at my job for you is that I and my angels are nosy. And we get to the bottom of what's going on with you. And excavate and deal with and get formulated ideas. So I love what I do. But sometimes, in order for me to be a healthy practitioner for you, I get a test or two. T-O-O. Okay? And this is what it was. So the person says, I can go deep. She had 4 Scorpio placements in her chart. So, and she hated that I said that. And that's a very specific thing to the twin flame thing. She was very upset, and I will explain that because I think that that's important to understand a lot of things. All the signs are always there, but and can I tell you guys something? I just learned so much. It was just such a great. It was great. All the signs were there, but I paid a lot of attention because I was very concerned about those scorpionic placements. No offense to any Scorpio out there, but specifically where they were placed, and I won't go into that. But I was like, this could swallow me. Now, I didn't think that word. I thought engulfed, I thought enmeshed, because these are words that are associated with the lower vibrational Scorpio energy, and the higher vibrational Scorpio energy is of understanding deep loyalty, and the lower vibration is obsession, possession, manipulation, power, control, mind games, all that stuff, right? Obsession, sexual, like exploration of all things taboo. So yeah, and I have no problem saying this to you guys, I always share it with you, my scorpionic placement is in my 8th house, which is Pluto, which shakes shit up. I come in to shake shit up, okay? And also that means that shit gets shook up in my life, whether I like it or not. And the reason that it gets shook up, that's a whole nother astrology lesson, guys, but the reason that it gets shook up is that my angels wanted me to be very comfortable with endings, because in order for me to teach these lessons, new people are dispatched into me all the time, and I know it's for a limited time only, even if my ego and my energy would like for it to elongate. One thing I'm never going to do is be disobedient and hate on my angels when they say, got a blast, close the gate, okay? And that is because of my placement. Not everyone is built like that. If you are, chef's kiss to you. But here's the thing, it comes at a cost. It means that you had your heart broken probably in the first part of your life with endings that shock the shit out of you. Now I'm expecting them. I'm like, oh, it's ending? Good thing I already packed. It doesn't bother me in the same way, which means I'm able to teach it. Does that make sense? Without it being devastation to the nation of my soul. Truly. Does that make sense? But that doesn't mean in my 20s that Crimea River that I wasn't sad as fuck. Now understand understanding why does everything that I love or everyone that I care about or invest into act like I'm the danger. I'm quite here just to do loving on you, you know? And my angel said, no, because you have spiritual work to do. And we need you to be very okay with abandonment. And that means that people are going to reject the absolute shit out of you and treat you like shit when you are probably the kindest person that has been in their vicinity. And my angels did it and did it and did it and did it and allowed it and allowed it and allowed it and allowed it so many times that now it just doesn't have the same effect on me. I'm inoculated. Does that make sense? And you know, when you get bit by a snake and then they use the venom as the antidote, I got bit a lot till I built up antibodies. And now I'm like, come at me. I'm ready. But I also have a spiritual team that guides me. And that's what this is about. So when the person said, I want to go deep, I was like, oh my God, I might have found one. This is it. This is it. This is it. This is my spiritual soulmate. The similarities we had were incredible, down to our life path, right down to, by the end of it, we discovered our blood type. Real talk. That's crazy, right? I've really probably never met someone who I've been more, I thought, compatible with. But actually, we were absolutely not compatible. But there was all of those, like, things that make you be like, you're amazing, no, you're amazing, no, you're amazing. Now, I will say there was a point where I said that towards the beginning, and she said to me, I'm not that amazing. And I thought, because I'm a Leo sun, all she needs is a little shaping. You know that meme where it's like, it just needs a little shaping. Lesson learned. No. And it's a lesson I know. When people tell you who they are, believe them. Did she not know who she was? Did I not eventually find out exactly who she was? I absolutely did. And we were supposed to have this experience specifically, where it wasn't just a platonic connection, but it wasn't romantic either. Because of the place that it was and the energy that existed between us, I was able to look into, she didn't even understand it, and she never will, but I was literally dispatched into her life to observe her there, because her as a friend, I imagine, is lovely. I felt like she had lovely traits and energies to her friends for the most part. I thought she was a good friend. Her as a full girlfriend, I imagine she's a ride or die to a certain degree, but there is some fuckery afoot in that realm. And that's why they send in a specialist. That's what I was dispatched in, to help assess and to help work with and to help grow with. But I had to see her from that perspective and to see her, to see her in that realm. Had we had been really truly just friends, which we really truly were just friends, but had we just been just friends without any over or undertones, that is another self of her I would have never known. What I experienced, I'm sure a lot of her friends never will. And that is the interesting and sometimes bitter pill. And don't let people gaslight you out of what you know. That's a big, big deal here in this themation. So I was like, let's go deep. Okay, I'm scared a little bit. I used to make jokes in the beginning. Oh my God, with all that Scorpio in your chart, I'm going to run from you. Like, I literally would say that or write it or text it. And she would be like, no, don't run. Come out to play. Oh God. Oh, my angels got jokes, man. So I was like, oh, come out to play? That, say less. Yeah, I'm come out to play. Also, the similarities, even down to, I no longer cater anything to this person as a chef. And I'm not even, listen, I'm going to tell you this story, but one thing I don't do is lie. She is probably, that experience with this person was probably my favorite culinary experience with a person, meaning we were both foodies even in the same way. She's a skinny legend, God bless, but we were both foodies in the same way, meaning we really enjoyed food. We enjoyed all the sauces, the indulgences, really amazing dinners, and I've always just wanted to find my, like, perfect person to have that experience with, and I never have. I've had people in my life that, like, watch their calories and do this and that, and because she was a skinny legend who had figured out whatever her health regimen was, she could indulge, and she would get back on track, God bless. I'm going to say some other things about her that will be the truth. But the truth is also that both things are true. Also, sis could burn. When I say she could burn, it's probably, and girl, ooh, the angels will try me. It is the best. And I'm two things very specifically. The best gluten-free, like she made me some gluten-free fried shrimp and some gluten-free crab cakes and this remoulade. Like, it's the best I've ever had. That specifically. No one has ever fried a cake better, made an oxtail better. She did it with love. I mean, she did it with care. That's why I say it started out as one thing, and then it went really sinister towards the end, and I was like, how do we end up here? Because that was tough. When my angels were telling me, like, you gotta get the fuck out of Dodge, I was like, but the room a lot. And specifically, that was really funny because I would compliment her on it all the time. And I would tell her all the time, I'd be like, your exes are stupid as fuck. This shit is so fucking good. But, and she was like, oh, I'll give you the recipe. And, you know, my higher self knew we were not going to be around each other. I never took the recipe because I know that what will happen is I really knew that it was supposed to be just that, like, moment. But I know that sometime later in my life that I will have a remoulade that maybe tastes like it or rivals it. It'll happen years from now. And I'll be like, you know, it was worth the wait for that moment. But I never took the recipe because I kind of understood, like, that's going to be an encapsulated thing. I don't know why. It was just a weird thing in my mind. But what I could say is that I enjoyed being in the kitchen with her. I enjoyed connecting with her. There were so many things about her that I enjoyed. There were so many pieces of her that I thought, yes, I really like this. And because obviously this is going to disintegrate, I really hope that I can have this in my life in another way. You know, you can't ever replicate people, but you can say, oh, I liked that trait, and you can hope for the best or script it if you'd like. So, now we've got the superlatives out of the way. She could burn. I'm used to cooking for people, and I did have an opportunity to cook for her. But because of how my life changed and I got sick and all that stuff, I have not been in any kind of cooking mood in the last few years. I could barely walk. It was a lot. So it was just lovely. It was really, really lovely. And there were kindnesses. So I'm saying all of this because a lot of you guys were like, how did I get tricked? How did I da-da-da-da? Because both things are true. I remember specifically falling. We were out of the country and I fell at the lagoon. You guys saw me put the lagoon up here. And I fell at the lagoon. And they got her out of the lagoon. And she sat on the ground with me. She, rubbed my legs to calm me down while the whatever, they're like, they have like an on-site medic team because people fell all the time. People fell even after I fell right around me. So they had like an on-site medic team and they were like strategizing how I could get up and all of that stuff. And I already have injuries and stuff, so it was like a hot mess. And she was so kind. I will never forget that moment because I was embarrassed and I was, it was a lot. And she was so kind and so gracious. And that's an important thing to understand about the juxtaposition because she also could be incredibly cruel and thoughtless too. And I'm not lying to you. I need you to know the good things so that you can understand why it may be hard when you're in these situations to get your bearings and to differentiate what you're experiencing because it was hard to compartmentalize the person that was cooking some of the best gluten-free food I've ever had in my life, cooked from another human's hands, to mine, and the person that would take such lovely, compassionate care of me. Any friend would have gone to your side, but for her to sit down and wait, and I was down there for like 20 minutes, like while they were figuring out if I was okay, they wanted me to wait to see if I could even get up. It was a lot. And she did that. And I really appreciated that. And that needs to be said because a lot of you guys contacted me and we worked through stuff and you're in your head like, but they did this, this, and this. And I'm like, yeah, but they also did that other thing too. That is a no-no for you. What do I say? The faces may change, but if the behavior is the same, they're fucking out of there. It's a non-negotiable. I don't just tell you guys this. I walk it like I talk it. Real talk, okay? So, anyway, that happened. And I was like, yes, I want to go deep. This is amazing. This person is, she has a capacity. And I had in my mind, for sure, and I communicated, and there was full appreciation, acceptance, consent, all of that stuff about the journey we were going to embark on this soulmate journey. There was a mutual understanding. It was all of that. So it wasn't like I was projecting. That was one of her favorite words. Ironically, a lot of that was done onto me, truly and actually. But there's three sides to every story. But I was very clear and I was very well intended, and you all hear how I speak. This is how I talk to people in my life. I say exactly what I mean. I don't have subterfuge. I don't gaslight. So imagine, you know those memes where it's like, yeah, that's me. You're probably wondering how I got here. That's exactly how I felt. So my angels were trying to tell me that we had done our work and it was over. Our work was over probably within 2 to 3 months of us meeting. She had introduced me to human design, and she'd already done one of her first or several breaches of trying to undermine my intuition, of gaslighting me, of just not meeting the soul contract, of not keeping up to the agreement, just a lot of weird shit that like she should have been out of there. But when we are, I always tell you this, the one thing that will distort your intuition is attraction. So when I say attraction, whether it's just like, this is a really cool friend, or I'm actually attracted, or if you're dating someone, let's say you're dating a guy and he's really cute, and maybe you always wanted to date a guy that looked like him. I've had a client have that happen, and she wouldn't break up with him for a long time because he was like what she had to put on her, like a picture on her vision board, literally. And I was like, she was looking for like 5 years, and I was like, see, he's wild. And she was like, yeah, but when am I ever going to get this again? And you cannot live in scarcity and poverty and lack and think that you will not have. Like, I had to release, like, I'm not getting these shrimps again. That's it for the shrimps. I'm never getting that remoulade again. Not in that configuration. Not with that perfect amount of fucking garlic and the perfect squeeze of lemon. It's never happening. But was the remoulade worth me staying and having someone assault the very thing that keeps the money in the bank? Shawty, what you think? That keeps me with my lights on? That helps me help the collective? That not just pays my bills, but gives me purpose in my life? Because if you allow someone who is turning toxic, that they've gone fucking rogue on you for whatever reason, and we'll talk about some of the reasons, do you stay with them because the roulade was good, or because they were on your vision board for 5 years like my clients? No. And a lot of us put ourselves in those predicaments because we're like, but well, I mean, you'll get it again, or you won't. But either way, what is the blessing is your sanity, your peace of mind, and your prosperity. And I don't just mean that fiscally. When you are with a karmic partner, or when it turns karmic, you will lose. You will lose, you will lose, you will lose. And I'm going to talk to you about some of the losses that I took. You will lose. And I was very clear. I even told this person, hey, we're karmic partners. You have a boundary. I have a boundary. These boundaries don't mix. Let's cut our losses, because all that's going to happen is somebody here is going to end up being unfortunately hurt, or whatever the case may be. We both were the antithesis of the thing that each other wanted or needed to a certain degree. We had deal breakers that literally were diametrically opposing each other. So I was like, let's just break the deal. Deal broken. And not go into the land of limerence and gaslighting and toxicity. But y'all, you're probably wondering how I got here. So, I'm in a different country. The pink octopus that you see, long ass time. This is going to be a long one, y'all. Just get your drink, get your smoke, get your snack, take a toke, and sit back. But at the end of this, you will come away with invaluable information of how it plays out, because this is how it plays out in reality. So I'm in England, and we had it was a very impromptu thing smashed together, where it was like, she was like, one of my friends kind of is like flaking on me, sort of, and Beyonce just happened to be there. Beyonce just happened to be there, and I was like, sis, I looked at the tickets over here, the tickets are crazy, blah blah blah. It's cheaper, the tickets are actually cheaper over there, plus it'll be a trip and I get to do it. I had really wanted to do it. My trip had gotten canceled before I ever met this person. I had a trip planned to England, and then the panorama hit, COVID hit, and so that got canceled. And so literally not just planned, booked, paid for, all of that, and then it hit. And so it was like, England is on my bucket list. I got to get there, got to do it. So we worked it out. Now I will tell you this, and this is you know, when you were sharing with someone new in your life, like the things that trigger you because you think they're normal and you don't think that they're going to turn out to try to, girl, one of this person's pet peeves was triangulation, and because she'd come out of something and she was like da 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 da, and I was like, oh my god, I was beyond uber transparent with her, because I was like, I never want you to be triangulated. I didn't even want her to be triangulated with my work. Does that make sense? Because that's really my true love. My true love is my work, and I can be wild about that. Like currently, as we speak, is like kind of the middle of the night, and I'm on a family vacation, and I'm outside working. So this is really who I am. So I was like, I'm committed to us connecting and spending time together, all that stuff. I didn't want her to even be triangulated with my work. When I tell you that this person loved 3, she, as much as she thinks she didn't love 3, she loved 3. If there was a 3, she was hugging the 3. She wanted to be inside of the 3. She wanted to be underneath the 3. She triangulated me with anyone and everyone. I've never in my entire life been more triangulated. And I specifically said, and this is when I started to be like, oh, this is toxic. She's doing this for reactions on purpose. But in this case of England, I will tell you, she's like, friend is flaking. I'm like, say less. We'll split a room. She's like, yes, let's split the room. Or she said that to me, like, we'll split a room. I was like, perfect. I send her the money for my half of the room. Everything is all set. My angels were telling me there's fuckery afoot. I felt anxiety and panic. And this happened so many times with her that this is my fault. That's why I said we can override our intuition, but thank God that our angels still pull us out even when we do. Every time I would like book a trip or do a thing or whatever with her, like literally like seconds after I would hit like book, confirm, pay, whatever, then there'd be incoming fuckery from her. Like weird circumstances, weird triangulations where I was like, what the fuck? And I remember in that moment being so frustrated because she was like, oh, well, my friend, I booked the trip. I have bought my tickets for Beyonce, or paid for my tickets for Beyonce. I have split the room at the place and whatever. And I have, thought of other excursions and things to be done. And I'm like, this is going to be fantastic. This is it. I'm on the run. I'm Beyonce. I'm going to see Beyonce. It's great. As soon as I book, she circles back and she's like, oh, my friend, like, she wants to come and whatever. And so, like, it might be 3 of us to a room. Triangle. Take a drink every time I tell you about her triangulating me. Triangle. And I'm like, but I'm grown, okay? And just for context, so you understand, this person is about maybe 3 years younger than me, maybe 4 at the most. But she's grown too, okay? She grown enough, grown enough to know better than a lot of the bullshit that was happening, and I was like, well, I'm grown. I don't know this woman. Also, I understand emotional dynamics as an empath. And what that means is that I don't want to put anybody in an uncomfortable situation because I feel everybody's feelings. And I already was feeling the anxiety of this perfect stranger that I had never met about being in a room with me and her and maybe feeling like the outcast, third wheel kind of weird stuff. And I was like, and I literally remember writing this girl and saying, I'm not going to be in the Hunger Games here. I'm not going to let you put me in the Hunger Games. I was upset that she wasn't mature enough to manage it and handle it and like deal with it and set boundaries. But I realized later, what are those? She had them when she wanted them, but not for anybody else's comfort or consideration. So I was like, this is very strange. This is like really strange. And I'm a grown ass woman. And finally, God bless. I was like, what if I was broke? If I broke, I ain't got it. But I just got my own room. I said, send me back my half of the money. Thank you so much. And she did. In all fairness, she absolutely did. And I'm going to just get my own room. And I'll let you 2 kids duke it out over there. And that's that. And so this trip that I'm going to England for the first time, and this woman is very well traveled. It was another reason I was very attracted to her. I thought she was so interesting and diverse and just like had all of these cool experiences under her belt and all of that. She's cooked all over the world, just really cool stuff. And again, both things can be true. So I thought that she was going to kind of be like my little guide to England. She was over there specifically for something that she had to do, an event or a wedding or something with some other friends and whatever. And so there was boundaries that were built into that, and I was fine with that. But imagine my first time over to England and I'm not going to be with the person that I thought I was going to be with. Does that make sense? Not at least for a couple days or a day or 2 or whatever. because I did not want the other person in her friend group to feel triangulated. I'm empath thinking for everybody. It's a trauma response from childhood post-traumatic stress disorder, where we like overthink and like make sure everyone's comfortable. But I could feel that that woman was going to be uncomfortable, and I wasn't wrong. Anyway, that happens. So I spend the first day and a half or so by myself. I go to dinner by myself. I do all of that stuff. It was at this moment that a lot of you guys would have checked out and been like, fuck this bitch, like, because she tried it. She really did. It was a really uncomfortable position to put me in, and had I not had the means to get my own place, I would have just been uncomfortable. And God is good. So anyway, we saw meals, everything was fine after the day and a half, whatever. You guys saw me do a reading in Stonehenge. We went to Stonehenge, and this is when the pink octopus appeared. And this is where I really should have ended it, right there. Okay? And I will tell you. I'm going to tell you a little story about that. So, we're on our way out to Stonehenge. One of my friends texted me. I had stopped talking to my bestie about this person because I didn't know if I was getting weird feedback and energy from my bestie. I wasn't sure what was happening. And I'm the type of person that I don't involve everybody in my business, whatever my business is. I'm a grown-up. And so I make my own decisions, and I don't triangulate with everybody else around me. So if I have something that I think is a good situation or a new connection or whatever, I incubate it and I protect it fiercely. The same could not be said for this person. There was a lot of immaturity. That's the pervasive word. And triangulation for fodder, really. Amusement, making me the butt of the joke. Because, because it's fun. It's fun. But I was not running our connection by anyone. And she wasn't a secret either. My bestie had met her, all that stuff. So it wasn't like I was giving her a secret at all. I'm very clear. My husband knew who she was. Everybody understands how I live my life. All of these things are sanctioned, no matter how you feel about it with your opinions on the other screen. And everything was consented. So what I'm going to tell you about this is that I end up, we're heading to Stonehenge. And my friend, that's not my bestie, another good long-time friend, texted me because I had talked to her right before. She was like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I think I'm going to go to England to see Beyonce. And my friends know that I will just like pop off and travel and just do something. She's like, oh my gosh, da 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 da. And she literally was on the phone with me when I got the text in from the other girl that was like, oh, my friend kind of still wants to come and we're going to share a room. So I'm panicking a little bit until I was like, let me just wrangle this shit and fix it. And my friend was like, that's really shitty, don't go. Like, everyone is super clear. I didn't call her, I didn't reach out, I didn't triangulate. I just happened to literally have a cosmic moment where I'm on the phone with a friend who's pretty unbiased and had also met her and really liked her. And she was like, that's fucked up. Well, like, why are you going to go out there if she's kind of like Indian given the opportunity for the room? Like, I guess you could still be in it and get in where you fit in, but that was not what it was. You sent her your half the money and whatever the case may be. So I was like, yeah, but it's Beyonce, it's already paid, I'm not going to get a refund on my tickets. Like, literally this happened so many times. I'm the dummy, okay? Or not the dummy, I guess I'm the scientist. I'm the experimental, honest person that's never going to lie to you guys. So my friend is like, you really shouldn't go. So that's why she was texting me when we're literally on the coach. There's like a bus that takes you out to Stonehenge. And so we were literally on that, and she texted me, how's it going? At the time that she's texting me, how's it going, I look up and I see this pink octopus. Now, the billboards over there, some of them, are super technologically advanced. Like, think of like what you would see maybe like in Asia or Japan. Some of them are not, but we were like on a main thoroughfare apparently, and it was this really like high-tech screen, and it was changing whatever. And now we get into the symbology. Octopus and arachnids or octopus are cousins of arachnids, or, the 8 legs, it's like they're cousins. Whenever I'm dealing with someone that is either an energy vampire, low vibrational, toxic, someone that's going to be painful for me, someone who's going to love me first and then hate me later, my angels always give me the same symbology. I have dreams that are similar, I have symbology, animal totems that are similar, insect totems that are similar, and that's why I'm saying this can save your life. And so I get this pink octopus. Now this girl also happened to be really colorful too. So it was, and the pink comes in later, guys. Keep the pink in the back of your mind. Whew. Y'all, it's been a wild ride. So as my friend is texting me, how's it going? Because she's like, she knows that I was like on HOTS. You know, when they say if you're on HOTS, I'm on HOTS too. I was pissed. It was really an unfortunate situation. I felt tried. I felt disrespected, especially because I had been very clear with her about how I felt about triangulation. I thought since she was honest with me, I would be honest with her. Fair, no. Sometimes people want to know your business and get inside of your head so they can know exactly what buttons to push. And there was a part in her that was an absolute anarchist, truly. You know the scene in Ricky Bobby where it's like the kids are running around. It's a redheaded kid, and he's like, "It's anarchy, and I love it." Like, that was her to a good degree, in a way that you wouldn't know if you were just her friend. If you were just her friend, I don't know that you know that she's a full fucking anarchist in the most insidious for placement Scorpio way. And not at all what I bargained for, y'all. I thought I was going to be having deep esoteric talks into the night, and some of that happened, so I'm not even going to hold you, I'm not even going to lie. But I thought that it was going to be like this compounded and building deep dive magical exploration and friendship, and I got just fuckery. And also, my angels taught me a really good lesson about the fact that I forgot what her real sign was. She's an air sign. Which means that it was going to be nothing but a head fuck. Like in a lower vibration, that's all you won't get from an air sign. It's head fuckery. Nothing but mind games. So anyway, that happened. I see the octopus. This is my angel's first time telling me, get the fuck out of here. But, do you see the picture of the octopus? Go look at the thumbnail again. It's a cute little cuddly octopus. I've never seen this octopus. I know that the animal symbology for me is octopuses and spiders. The spiders are coming. I will just wait. Like a nightmare phrase no one ever wanted to hear uttered, right? I have incredible extreme arachnophobia. That's why this totem works very well. When they show me this, they're like, run. In any case. And I'm like, I'm texting my friend, I'm like, I don't know what this, I was like, this is how it's going. I sent her the pink octopus. My friend is spiritual as well. She sends me back those two eyes that are looking like, what? And I'm like, yeah. She was like, fuck, I told you not to go. And I'm like, yeah, but nothing's really like happened with us. Oh, but wait, I spoke too soon. Meaning it wasn't like, it was uncomfortable and it was weird that I didn't see the person that I went to go spend time with in England for a day or two. And that I was out there figuring out solo travel. Careful what you ask for. Whatever. So, but that was fine. Like, you know, that's okay. All those are fantastic experiences I was able to get through, meaning like learning experiences. That was not a big deal. I see the octopus. I don't know what that octopus is. I've never seen that in America. Why is it on a billboard? Why is it so big? I knew my angels are trying to get my attention. Folks, that's how they get your attention. So I look it up, and what you see on that screenshot is literally a screenshot of the Google search I did all the way back in May when that happened. Okay? I believe it was May. And it said octopus energy. Guys, it's so good. This is such an intricate woven lesson of how the angels that love you will be like, get the fuck out of here. It says octopus energy. Apparently in England they have a power company that is octopus energy, and that pink octopus is their totem avatar mascot. Okay, whatever. So I know it's symbolic, but I just am like, well, I'm here now. And it has been fuckery to even be here. And this was not my ideal situation, but here we are. We go to Stonehenge. I do the readings. It's a lovely day. She is very, though things are true, she's very lovely that day. She keeps a watch on the time for me. She makes sure that the bus doesn't leave my ass, because it almost did. I literally got into a fight with someone on the bus who was trying to cuss me out. And at the time I was still very much on my cane and walking slow. And I will say, to be fair to her in all ways, she was like, girl, we gotta go, and here's the time frame and all that. So I'm never, no lies, okay? So she was, they might have left my ass if it wasn't for her. So, you know, hats off for that. I appreciate that very much. Send that out to her spirit somewhere, wherever she may be. Thank you for not letting them leave my ass. But, But right after that, it was treachery. So, we win some, we lose some. So we go to Stockholm. That happens. Now, the whole reason that I had wanted to go to beyond Beyonce, besides Beyonce, to England, I am a British West Indian person, but all my life I've heard about my mom be like, the fish and chips in England, the fish and chips in England, the fish and chips and fish. When you get fish, get chips. Get chips when you get your fish. And I had even told her, I cannot wait to go have the fish and chips. I found a gluten-free spot that does the fish and chips. And whatever the case may be. Now, not just that I had told her, but we had been writing about it over the couple weeks leading up to the trip and all that stuff. And I can screenshot and document where I had said to her, I am so excited to have the fish and chips, like 2 or 3 weeks prior to. Now, you don't expect anybody to remember what it is that you need or what you like or whatever the case may be. But I'd even said to her as we were leading up to today, I want to have the fish and chips, and I can't wait. And after we come back from Stonehenge, we're gonna head out over here to go get the fish and chips. We're gonna get a cab and then get the fish and chips. I want to also add that this day was a very tense and terse day. As soon as I came downstairs from my room, and she met me downstairs from her room, I don't know if the girl had disembarked or no, I think the girl might have still been there. I don't know what was going on. I don't know, because when I tell you, I never even allowed that girl into my actual room. And this is a girl who I had shared rooms with and traveled with pretty much a lot in the short time that we had connected. But my angels were very clear with me, and I was very clear with me. I was like, you're not even fucking, I don't even want you in my fucking room. I was so pissed, and I felt so disrespected that I even had to be the setup. But God is so good. So good. God knows me so well. I want to thank you, Jesus. But the whole day was very tense, right? It's a little tense because, it's a little bric-a-brac because she can tell energetically. She's very intuitive. I've never run anybody that's not spiritual, that doesn't have their own giftings. Both things can be true. But she uses hers for bullshit. That's what she decided to do, and that's what she's actually signed up for. But, I get downstairs, the day starts off tense. We almost we're almost gonna miss our stagecoach connection to get on the bus to go to Stonehenge and all of that, and shit's just wildly tense, and cards weren't working, and stuff like that. I don't know where we had gone the night before or something, but it had flagged her card and then it flagged my card, and it was all this craziness. But fortunately I had other cards, and I also had a bestie. Shout out to Bestie, who I was like, Bestie, I might need I'm going to Stonehenge, because that was on my plan and bucket list to read, and so I was going to hire a private car to take us, and that was going to be a grip, and if my car wasn't going to work, Bessie was going to send it. So either way, we were going to get to Stonehenge. It didn't work out that we had to do any of that, thankfully, but the whole day was off. When energy's off, and then everything is off, and everything is off, the whole day is off. She's not communicating because another thing. That's the real lack of compatibility for sure. The glaring major issue. She's not really communicating with me. I'm having to learn a whole new language with her, which is fine. Guys, energetically speaking, I have a master's in communication. I don't really. I don't have an actual master's in communication. I have it figuratively and spiritually. And before I leave here, I'll have a PhD. That's what my angels told me. I'm very good at communicating. I'm very good at understanding little ones, because I taught them for so many years, and big ones that haven't healed that little one inside of them. I have never in my entire life had more frustrating communication and with a human ever. And I have dealt with overt malignant narcissists, people with all kinds of mental disorders, treated and untreated. I have worked with actual autistic children and adults. I used to work at a home where I worked with adults that had Down syndrome, and I would take them to their jobs. I have worked with people that literally were deaf, and I can sign a little bit, enough to spell the alphabet and do a few of the basic things. I have communicated with people that speak other languages clearer than I did this person. I'm not embellishing when I tell you it was the greatest challenge of my life communicating with her, and I realized that she does this purposely, and I'm going to tell you a story about that. The semantics of attraction. Hold on to that, okay? She absolutely knows how to communicate when she wants to, and use it for fodder and for laughter and for a fun joke with her tribe, but it wasn't something that she wanted clarified in real communication with a person that she probably should have clarified it with. She just thought, this is hilarious. This is a great story to tell. Ego, fill me up. ego, fill my cup. She knew exactly how to fucking communicate. Okay, if she could parse the semantics of motherfucking attraction, Wild. That's a wild story, y'all. That word specifically, just a funny story. But she knew how to communicate. She just purposely made things difficult. That's a trait that you'll notice with people that are narcissistic. Now, here's the thing. We're going to get to what I think about this. Is she a full out, total, full blown, overt narc? No. Is she a full covert narc? No. I think it's a new species that I might have discovered. It's not new to me. Literally, my angels made it very clear to me in the last several months. It's called a vulnerable narcissist. I think it parallels pretty much with covert. I can't diagnose her, but when you're figuring out what you're dealing with, you do start to diagnose, don't you? We will all do it. We have all done it, right? And I was like, And now when I talk about the species, we're going to get to the end, because that has to tie in with the spiders. That's why I was like, my angels are so intricate with the details. Anyway, the day is terrible. Our energy is off. Beyond her making sure they don't leave my ass, that's the last nice gesture and the only nice gesture that happened that day. We get into the cab. I'm so excited. Guess what I wanted? Say it with me, guys. Fish and chips. I tell the cabbie, here's the address of where I want to go. Now, I will tell you, in England, they don't give a fuck about capitalism. They don't give a fuck about your money. If they want to tell you yes or no, they will. I went to England months later with my mother, and I wanted to order us 2 full English breakfasts. And the guy was like, no, mommy's not going to eat all that, and whatever. You can get a porridge for her. You guys share the English. I've never had that happen before. Like in America, if I said I wanted 7 breakfasts, they'd be like, you pay in cash or card, you know? So that's really funny. I just realized England is just a different place. But the cabbie wanted to stay in his route, I guess, where he could make money and whatever. He was like, oh man, that fish chip or the address is far away. The address is far away, and which he said it's like a 30-minute drive across town or whatever. That to him, that was far away. And again, I'm like, is my money green? My money don't jiggle, it falls. Like, I was like, I don't understand. What's happening? I got pounds, I got currency, what are we talking about? But he was like, man, that's far away. Now, here's the deal. This girl knows I want to get these fish and chips and whatever. But for whatever reason, and this was what I was dealing with her the whole time, there was these secret agendas always. She had her own subterranean line of communication that she was not sharing with me. I always had to like read the motherfucking room and do my job, and I was tired. I was like, this is too much. This is too much work. This is too much work. I work all the time. I do this in real life for people that value what I'm doing. Why am I doing this with you? Because you're nice, but you're not. Everything that led up to the trip was not nice. It wasn't considerate. It wasn't kind. It was very mean girl. It was really interesting. This person was in a sorority, and I didn't understand it. Meaning, I have my own stereotype of sorority girls, right? And I know that there are very proud sorority sisters that are regal and lovely and careful and whatever. But I kind of associate it as an esoteric person with hive mind mentality. And also with mean girl aesthetic and energy. And because I had thought so highly of her, incorrectly, I thought, I don't even know how she was a sorority girl. I think I may have even said it to her. I was like, God, you just don't seem like a sorority girl. That day in that cab, the sorority girl showed up. She immediately triangulated me with the cab driver because for whatever reason, whether she had to go to the bathroom, whether she didn't want to spend the money, whether she didn't have the money, I don't know what the fuck was going on, whether she wanted to go back, maybe she was just tired. Instead of using real words and communicating like we normally do, humans, not me and her, because we never normally communicated, instead of using real words and communicating and just being like, hey, this is what's going on, she just, it's like with the cabbie, perfect stranger, just met him. Just met him. She was like, yeah, like, it's so far. I don't think she cursed, but she was like, it's so far. She just like hops on the bandwagon and co-signs and said, I'm shocked because I'm like, you don't even know, dude. All I've been talking about is these damn fish chips. It's a petty thing, guys, but this is when I was like, oh, we're dealing with a new species. I've never met this kind before, so I didn't even know how to deal with it or what I was dealing with. But she was like, or just a selfish asshole or a cruel person, because there were things that she did that were cruel. There was ways that she behaved that were actually cruel. And so I was like, here's a sorority girl, first of all. Now, what I'm not going to do after years of empath growth, learning, and previous abuse is let something just sit. So I dealt with it right then. I was like, why did that just happen? Why did you just like sabotage this and co-sign? I said, why didn't you just co-sign with a stranger? Now we're in the cab with the guy still, like bric-a-brac. I'm like, You know, you're not just gonna walk over me and act crazy. Like, what is happening? And then she did what she does so well, and this is another thing, guys, that has to do with the octopus. Octopuses are one of the most intelligent creatures. This girl had a couple of degrees, one of them I think in mathematics, one of them in aviation. The reason I'm saying that and I'm giving you the specificity of that is that's not normal girl math. A lot of us girls don't have that. We don't study those kind of things. She is smart. She is incredibly smart for how fucking stupid she pretends to be when it was convenient for her, when she wanted to gaslight me or to try to like have me lost in fucking limerence and craziness. So she does, you know, like Shere Khan is what they're showing me right now in the Jungle Book, you know, when it the thing spins. Someone here knows what I'm talking about, and he's like hypnotizing you with his bullshit. That. So I was like, why would you co-sign with this person? All I wanted is this fish and chips. Now, if I was with anybody else, if I was with my husband, if I was with my bestie, even if my bestie was like, I'm watching my calories today, I'm not going to go get this fish and chips, she would have walked there to get it for me. And I'm not just saying that to be an asshole. I'm saying I know what it is to have people that love me in my life and that care about me, even if they are fallible and have their shit just like I do, right? None of us are perfect. But I know I have like a good, you know, insular team, even if there's fuckery afoot, where it's like, that would have never happened. That would have never happened with another person that I was there with. Even the girl who texted me was like, "You good?" Would have been like, "Mom, I'm gonna Uber Eats you whatever. I'm gonna get it or whatever," right? But real words would have been used. But instead, she acts like she didn't understand that I wanted fish and chips. Like she doesn't know what fish or chips is. This bitch is a chef, okay? She in fact understands. What is the etymology of chips? What is the words that you're saying? And what she was doing was one of her classic manipulations. So gaslighting people will try to make you feel like you're crazy, like you've lost your damn mind. And I knew I wasn't crazy. And that's when it was octopus time coming up again. The guy lets us out of the thing. I am pissed. Now I'm pissed like a mama at this point because I'm like, this bitch has been an asshole essentially, like low vibrational energy all day. Meaning shit was going on. I will explain so that you understand the full circle of why people never listen to me. But she had been ridiculous all day, energetically wise. We had been off. She made sure I didn't get left. Thank you. Appreciate that. But it was just a weird day. Then she sabotages the fish and chips. The guy's like, look, I'm going to take you to one of my favorite chippies. It's like around the corner, but you're good luck. Good luck to you. So I'm like, fine. Because clearly, now he and her, this is what narcissists do. They will triangulate you with the closest person in the room. The bitch that hates triangles loves them, actually. And the universe said, and so it shall be. Since she loves them, they're going to make sure that she has everyone she could ever want. She's going to have an abundance of them. But she will not be in control of it. And she will be unsuspecting of it as well. So we get dropped off. This is not the place I want to be. I'm pissed. She's like, I'm going to go inside and look, and I'm just going to get something to go. This is not my quintessential fish and chip experience. I am a foodie. So I want to sit, I want to have the experience. I didn't know the next time I was going to be back to England. I didn't know that Jesus was going to make it, that I was back there in a few months. I did not have that trip planned yet. But I didn't know the next time. I did not want to eat. You know how like fried food, especially like when you get it home, is a hot mess. And I was like, why did this happen? There was this beautiful seafood restaurant next to us, and I was like, I was gonna just treat us to dinner because I didn't know what the fuck was going on with her money, and I was like, meaning the cards were all weird and stuff, and I was like, and that was, I don't believe to any fault of her own. It could have been a manipulation. I don't know. I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt on that because shit happens, and I've had that happen before in Paris or something, but there's this beautiful seafood restaurant. I was like, we can go have seafood here. This is what we're gonna do. And I think the issue was when I was intuiting, because why would communication happen, was that she didn't want to pay that or maybe even have me pay it for it or whatever. Fine, fair. So I say to her, because now I have devolved into motherhood, and I'm like, and I've never, children are not on my bingo ticket in this lifetime. I'm like, I'm going to be really upset if you don't get something from there. Because, like, you sabotaged the place I wanted to go. You co-signed it with the cabbie. Because if that cabbie was really saying no, then we just get out of the cab and go to another cab. But now that I know that she doesn't want to go, I'm uncomfortable. Ruined, you know? And what do we know about people with the N-word that are narcissists? They will sabotage your birthday, your favorite thing. They can't wait. As long as they get their way. So I couldn't decide. I'm like, oh, that was some sorority girl shit. Is she just being selfish and is she just being a mean bitch? Or did she have to pee? Like, I'm trying to get to the bottom of what it is, because I still think that this is salvageable. Silly me. Anyway, she gets food for her. And I'm determined I'm going to go get my fish and chips where I want to get them from. So I have the cab drop us back to the hotel. So we get another cab from the from the chippy place back to the hotel. And on the way home, I just was like, we are not, I lost it. Now that's when I should have never seen her again. Do you guys understand? I was like, we are not compatible. I'm saying these real words from my throat chakra. I'm like, we are not compatible. I was like, I am trying to figure out what happened. I'm trying not to say her name. I am trying to figure out why you would do this and why this was like such a big, like, why did this matter? Don't make it seem like it's a big deal to me when I've been clear about the only culinary experience I wanted here was this one thing. It wasn't like we did a bunch of fine dining or anything like that. And so she was like, oh, I didn't understand. And no, it's not that. It was like such bullshit. Now that I know her style of gaslight, it was her style of gaslight, which was she wanted her way for whatever reason. And it could have been a legitimate one. She could have been like, I'm embarrassed. I don't have the money or whatever. I don't know what it was. But instead of allowing me the dignity of choice to help her figure out, throw her a bone, or to be like, fine, cool, let's go home, she played full mind games with me. I'm losing my shit in the back of this black cab riding through England. And the guy had a sunroof. It was one of the only black cabs I was in that had a sunroof that time. And as I'm telling her that we're not compatible, the pink, we pass like under a bridge and there's another billboard, different one with the pink octopus, except this time it's bigger. Same octopus, but because I'm closer to it, and I'm not just zooming by on an interstate highway, it's bigger. I look at her to see if she sees it, but I know she won't even know. Even if she did see it, it would mean nothing to her. And I certainly wasn't articulating it. That's another thing. The way that this animal totem, your signs, symbologies, and your angels help you get out of stuff is by you not communicating to people everything you know. One of the first times that she undermined my intuition, we were on a cruise, and I very specifically predicted that a series of events were going to happen, and they happened in exactly, when I say it even scared me, I was like, this is how psychic I am. It happened exactly the way. And what she said to me was like, oh, I just thought that you were overreacting. Words like overreacting, words like too much. This is when you know that you're dealing with someone that is under the DSM umbrella of fucking insane, okay? And when I say insane, what I mean by that very specifically, gaslighting, manipulation, any of the narcissistic triad traits, the dark triad, I was like, what the fuck is happening here? She undermined me. And when that happened, I got in her ass. Because I was like, you were attracted to me, meaning you sought me out. You initiated contact with me. And you know what I do for a living. And you've seen me. And you understand that this is not a joke. I don't know. People like to get in front of you and test you and play in your fucking face. And I've never been played in my face more than with this crazy person. And so, and I feel like crazy is ableist because I feel like she was calculated. I think that's more appropriate of a word than crazy. I think she's crazy like a fox, really. I don't think, meaning she's not crazy at all. But I'm like, you sought me out. And now when I predict a series of events that happen exactly how I told you they're going to happen, you want to tell me I'm overreacting? I'm like, that can never happen again. And it was like pretty intense because I was appalled. I was like, ma'am, so is I or is I not psychic? Did you forget who you reached out to? Who you initiated contact with? So I'm just really trying to figure out what's going on. But that happens to me all the time, and maybe empaths will happen to you too. People don't believe you, or they want to undermine you, or they're like, let me see how psychic she really is, and they start to play weird mind games with you. If I had $1 for every time someone puts me in that situation, I'm like, oh no, my intuition is popping. This video is the example of it, and my angels speak to me very clearly. So we're back under the overpass, and the octopus is there, bigger in my face, right above me. He just slows down as we go under. It couldn't have been orchestrated better. And as we're going under, I'm saying to her, we're not compatible. Our communications, I am so fucking pissed. It's been a terrible day. Guys, there's a song that I talked about in one of my videos recently by Sheryl Crow. Did you know when you go, it's the perfect ending to the bad day I got used to spending? Every day with her wasn't bad, and all the moments weren't bad, but that day was a bad day. And I was livid, and I was like, why? How did this end up this way? So The guy drops her back off, and at the end, when she gets out of the cab, he says to me, "Oh, I hate that you had a row with your daughter." Like, he thinks that she's my daughter, right? And mind you, she's a few years younger than me, maybe 4 at the max, I think. And I was like, "She's not my daughter." And he was like, you know, because, well, and then he likens her to his 16-year-old daughter. He's like, "Oh, it's just that," he's like, he said specifically, "Her circular argument reminds me of how my 16-year-old daughter gets when she's like tired and we've been like on a flight for a long day," which was insightful because she very well could have been tired, but that's what you turn to your travel partner and say, "Hey girl, I'm beat, I need a nap," or can we go to the hotel first and rest and then come back out for the fish and chips?" And I kept trying to solve the problem when we were in the cab with the first person, trying to like troubleshoot it and diagnose it with her. Then when we get in cab with the second person, she was like, "Well, if you would have asked me and troubleshoot it and diagnose it." I said, "Bitch, I did troubleshoot it, I did diagnose it. You gaslit me." And I told her these words in the car. I was like, "You gaslit me the whole time." When we were in the cab with the cabbie, when you were in there with your sorority broski, and y'all was fist bumping, figuratively speaking, and being like, "Yeah, fuck that," whatever, I was trying to ask you, "Do you need to go to the bathroom? Are you okay? Do you want me to get it? Like, what? How can I make this happen?" And I didn't know that you were like this averse and opposed to the motherfucking fish and chips trip. So, but then she tries to gaslight me by the next cab that I didn't even do what I did in the first cab, which I did, that part. So when the cabbie says to me, "Oh, the circular argument reminds me of when my 16-year-old has like jet lag and she's tired and she's cranky," and he was like, "I really hate it." He was like, "I can't believe that you guys were having that kind of row, meaning that kind of fight over fish and chips." He was like, "I'll just take you to like my favorite fish." I was like, "No, I want the fish and chips and my fish and chips." Anyway, it's not about the fish and chips. It was about the sabotage of it all. It was about the lack of communication. It was about the bad vibes all day. It was about the triangulation and her Indian giving me the space, the room, choosing a person that had flaked on her. This is such a powerful lesson too. Empath, a lot of people will choose people that do not give a fuck about them over you. And I was a newer person in her life, but I was a solid energy because I'm solid as a person, actually. I knew that that person was going to flake. I was trying to coach her and walk her through it without superimposing and becoming like the bad guy, because people get very intimidated when we're in people's lives. So I just kind of let her walk through it because I felt like it was a lesson that she needed to learn about communication and boundaries and all of that stuff. I wasn't wrong. That girl didn't give a fuck about her, because that's not how you treat someone you give a fuck about. "Oh, that's just conjecture, Monette. Maybe you're just saying that because, you know, you're a little salty." No. By the end of the night, here's how I'm feeling. When I leave England, this will be the last time I ever see or talk to this bitch. Because she is trifling. She's emotionally draining. And she is tiring. And for all of her good qualities and the fried shrimp in the room a lot, it's not worth it. It's an experience. I had great fried shrimp in the room a lot. I will remember it when I'm 80 if I live that long. I once knew a girl who made fried shrimp and she dipped it in the room a lot. Like, that's it. That's sometimes all people are there for. It's that quick. That's it. It's not supposed to be some continual thing. By the end of the night, she reaches out to me because she can sense, because she's intuitive too, that I am sick of it and sick of her, because I used every word that God gave me. And I told her, "You bitch, you tried it." This whole thing has been fucked up. And now you sabotage like my one little piece of joy. Like, thank you. And so she tells me that the girl has Indian gave her. Karma happens so very quickly. I don't know why people play with earth angels. It's just an interesting thing to me. The girl that they had been fighting all day about money, and that's why her energy was off and whatever. That's also something she could have communicated with me about. Does that make sense? Should she have said that to me, I would have helped her transmute it, diffuse it, whatever. You know, it wouldn't have been an "I told you so." I understood that that was going to happen, like psychically, intuitively, but she didn't invite me or ask me to give her clarity on it. I just protected myself the best way I could by getting my own room. And she's talking to me about it. And she's like, "You know, it's unfortunate because you like put the money in my hand," and then she was like, "Well, give me the money back and I'm going to like change it back into like pounds." I don't even understand what happened. It sounded like gaslighting and bullshit. Funny how that will happen when that's your vibration. And I was like, that's fascinating, because in my mind, I'm like, so I put the money in your hand, split the room with you right away. I split the room with you weeks out with no problem. And this girl that you wanted to triangulate with me with and have me in the room being uncomfortable as fuck. And these rooms were tiny too. So it's not like your American luxuries hotel rooms. Anyway, I did have the luxury experience when I went back to England. It was fantastic. But this was not that, okay? This was a travel lodge. It served its purpose. It was good. But the rooms were tiny. So I can't imagine 3 of us in the room that I was in by myself. I was like, bitch, I can just be in it. To that point, because she can tell that I'm frustrated with her, and because this isn't also another fascinating thing, because she understands my energy and she understood very well attraction, she was like, hey, do you want me to bring some gin up and come to your room? If you know me, I love some good gin. And she understood that a little bit of connection, physical connection, or us just like hanging out in the same space even, probably would have quelled me. But I was understanding, and I was paying attention to the pink octopus, and I was like, nah, we're good. I was like, you can stay in your room, I'm good. And I meant that shit. I meant that shit from the bottom of my heart. I didn't let her come even step foot in my room the whole time I was there, because she didn't deserve that. Because she had tried it. I wasn't punishing her. I just knew I don't need to be proximally close to you. You're not going to limerence me with your Shere Khan shit. I don't even want you around me physically. Because she's very aware of her powers. Everyone has powers, guys. And she's very aware. And so I was like, fascinating. Looks like you understand attraction now. And also how to quell and maybe potentially calm me down. And I was like, I'm not going to hate you over this. This is my bad, because I did have a good friend on the phone with me who was like, don't go. You know, that could have also been angel interception. You know, we always talk about it starting to rain again here, guys. So hopefully you can still hear me. But we always talk about, like, did God send in someone to save me? And did you get, like, the alley-oop? Did you get the leg up? Did you understand? People come in all forms. That friend that was on the phone with me that was like, don't go, that was a leg up. I could have saved myself all of that frick-a-frack and drama and whatever. Anyway, England ends. I see 2 pink octopuses. They're getting progressively bigger. Time goes on. The year evolves. Gaslights are lit. The fire is raging on the gaslights. I don't even have time to go into all of them. If they strike me later, I'll teach an individual lesson about the one specific gaslights that stuck out more than the other. 17 of them. Very much octopus tentacles. Right? At first, a cute and cuddly little octopus. It's pink. What could go wrong here? This is harmless. Now, the way that I know my angels talk to me, there was a previous soulmate person that I dated. She was overtly narcissistic, and I got rid of her immediately because the phases changed, but the lesson was the same. And it took me like a month and a half. And I was like, cut it out. We did. The card that she gave me, 2 very specific things. One was a snake doctor card. It's a brand. And this other person gave me that same card. I took a picture of it when it happened. I don't even understand what I'm taking pictures of sometimes. My angels are just like, document this. And the card she gave me was like an octopus. And I also had very vivid dreams from the previous soulmate person of underwater seascapes. I grew up in the Keys, so I think that that's probably how my angels talk to me. However, spiders and octopi are very much associated with narcissistic or Jezebel spirited energy, you know, like Black Widow, all that stuff. So there's a lot of literature and a lot of verbiage and a lot of videos that talk about that this insect totem for people that are fully esoteric or not esoteric, whatever, just regular, even medical professionals associate these archetypes with this energy for these reasons, okay? So that happens. The year is filled with gaslights. Other trips are booked, and at the next trip, we were supposed to go by ourselves. It was like a trip that I was literally being called to by Odin energetically. I had this powerful download right before I only shared it with her. We did, in fact, meet a wizard that she also triangulated me with. Like a stranger off the street. Mona, no, she wouldn't triangulate you with another person. Yes, and I'm going to tell you that story. That is a story to tell. But before we even get there, there's another triangulation. Because we were talking about going, and then all of a sudden, she talks to one of her friends, which is fine. That is fine. And one of her friends wants to come too. And I was like, understanding our dynamic, I was like, nah, this is not what you do. Why am I having to coach you through grown-ass shit? Like, no. We just went through that. Your friend, her friend is very nice. I had even read for her friend. Her friend was very nice. I actually really liked her friend. It wasn't an issue about her friend, but it was an issue about, like, why are you allowing all this triangulation to happen when this is not something that I'm comfortable with, or you say you're comfortable with, allegedly, but clearly you are comfortable with. You love it. You love it. And so I put my foot down and I was like, nah, homie, that's nice that she might want to go, but that's not going to happen because that's, the wind is blowing. The angels agree. Ooh, I might have to go inside. I don't know if you guys want a part 2. But I was like, no, that's not going to happen. We get to England. We meet us perfect, or not England, excuse me, the next country, Iceland. Perfect stranger on the street. And she triangulates me with him. He wants to take us out later and all that stuff, but really he just wants to take her out. And what she does is so mean girl and so sorority. Right before, she was like, what do you want me to do? And I was like, well, it's the night before we pack and go home. We should probably pack, which is a big deal for her. She's all about a pack. Like, we got to pack the night before we go. We traveled a lot together, so I kind of like learned her energy. So I was like, we should probably pack. That's what we should do. And whatever. And he wanted to take her out. He was a surgeon, and all I was thinking in my mind, because we're true crime girlies here, was that he was going to cut her apart and all the rest of it. I also had checked with her because he had kind of followed us around the city that day. Coincidentally, I just thought it was very weird. We met him at one place randomly, and that was genuinely random and kismet. And then we were at another place, the very popular church, that's very iconic. That looks like the volcano pillars. And he was there. She's like, look who I found. And I was like, and because now I don't trust her at all, I don't know that she didn't orchestrate the whole thing. Oh, thunder is rolling. There's a jet passing. Let me let the jet pass. Unless it's like a tornado. It's freezing out here too. I might go inside. We'll see. Okay. The jet's out of range, I think. Or it's gonna be a tornado. Anyway, so she triangulates me with this guy. I checked in with her. He's like, I'll take you to the store. Let me give you guys a ride, whatever. During the day. So that was fine. And then when we get back to our flat, to the Airbnb, I'm like, hey, what was going on with that? And whatever. He also takes us on a shopping spree. Guys, what do I tell you guys? When you're an empath, it will magnify energy. I definitely know that dude was attracted to her, and it wasn't about me. He was pacifying me. That's what you do with a friend. You're like, I'll buy your friend a drink too, right? That, for sure. That wasn't about me. I know my energy can expand things. And she even said it. She was like, oh, I thought that happened because we were together, because stuff like that doesn't usually happen to me. And I was like, no, I'm sure that this guy very much was fixated on you and attracted. Are you interested? Are you whatever? And I'm just talking to her, and she's like, no, absolutely not. I'm good. We go have dinner. We go to do the Rainbow Road. It's amazing. We get to a shop, a store, a restaurant that Gordon Ramsay frequents. One of our drivers was like, Gordon Ramsay was just here the other day. This is one of his favorite places. She found it on Instagram. So we got reservations. It's an amazing meal. But I don't get to really enjoy the meal because I had to shut down and go into survival mode because hashtag this is what we gonna do. Old boy texted her during dinner. And he was like, hey, babe, I really want to see you, come out, just bring you. So essentially, and she shows me the text, because that's what a fucking mean girl, sorority sister will do. A lot of people would have incubated that, protected it, maybe even conveyed it, but not really let me see it. But he was really like, leave your fat friend, bitch. Leave her there. And, I don't know that he said fat friend, so again, I want to be 100% honest and fair, but he was essentially, my intuition doesn't miss. And he was like, leave her, he was like, just you come out. And I'm like, have you ever watched true crime? What, the Joran Vandersloot? Are you the next Natalie Holloway? I was like, you're gonna have your mom kill my ass. But that was that. And so I was like, I'm gonna leave Iceland and I'm never gonna talk to this bitch again. You see a pattern, guys? You see a pattern? I'm gonna leave Iceland and I'm never gonna talk to her again because this is just bad behavior. Even if it was under the premise of something totally platonic, even if it was totally romantic, the lack of object permanence, the lack of loyalty, to no one, to not even herself. I'm like, do you love you? Because homie, this is his land, and he knows how to work his scalpels, and he has clocked you for a thing because she trafficked in a certain energy. No matter what she thinks about it, I watch it all the time, and I was like, girl, you should be more self-aware about who you are. So he definitely thought there was going to be a certain outcome to the night. Now, I know her. Do I know her better? Well, I don't know. I don't even want to speak for what she would have done. I would like to think that she wouldn't have, but I don't know. But attention mattered a lot. She needed all of it. Every little bit of it, which was fine, you know, like, get your attention, be you, be a magical, everything, do the things. But I was like, this is dangerous, and also it's like the last night, and also, like, girl code, and also, like, what? But she didn't owe me anything, and she's a sorority sister in her real life, a fucking mean girl. That was who she really was, because she really did want to go. And she waited until she asked me for clarification. And this is the same thing she did in the cab. She was like, what do you think, or whatever. She asked me something over dinner, and I was like, no, like, just stay home and pack and whatever, and, you know, whatever, like, maybe if we get packed early, you can meet him out at the bar or whatever. I don't know what I said, but I was just like, but it was, no, stay home and pack was the overarching thing. And then as soon as I said that, she was like, okay, I'm gonna go out. You see what I mean about anarchy? She wanted to know that that was going to get a rise out of me, because that's how people that are narcissistic feed off of you. Again, you know, that's how they feed. They get your emotions riled up. They do something that is adverse to everything you think. And whether they're narcissistic or they are, what do you call it, an energy vampire. You know, I still am skittering around what to call this person. An entity would probably be the best thing. Because it started out with all this admiration, and then it quickly turned into hate and weird jealousy and cruelty at the end of it. Jealousy that I didn't even see coming. I'm going to tell you, one of my toxic traits is that because I live in a world where people have been assholes about my weight, if you're skinnier than me, I just don't think you could ever be jealous of me. I know that sounds ridiculous, but that's truly one of my toxic traits. It's like, well, you're skinny, so you could never be jealous, you know? So I really struggle to understand. I really sometimes feel like mentally addled, and I struggle to understand when people are jealous of me until it's too late. Because people don't get jealous of me in any way that's sexy or fun. People's jealousy of me turns into evil-ass fucking hate and malicious, overreaching, crazy shit and undermining of the worst kinds. And I'm like, how come I never get the just sexy jealousy? You know what I mean? Like, no, it's always wildness. But anyway, that was a triangulation with the wizard. Because funsies. When we got back home, she triangulated me with something her mama said she should do. Because funsies. Like, girl, exhausted. I've never met someone who was not... I thought she was a grown-up. Like, even as I'm sitting here talking to you, I'm stuffed up because it's very, like, cold and rainy out here. But even as I'm sitting here talking to you, yeah, I thought she was more grown-up and more adult and more mature. And maybe she was never supposed to be any of that for me, you know? Maybe I was supposed to just see her that way. Maybe I'm too mature, or maybe I'm a stick in the mud. I don't know, y'all. Well, listen, what we're not going to do is gaslight myself. My assessments on her were correct. Let's get back to business. So, she triangulated me as much as she could, all the time, for a nickel or a dime. With her mama, with her friend, with her therapist, allegedly, with her friends, with whoever. And I was the subject of the jokes and matters. Monette, you couldn't possibly be the subject of jokes. Maybe that's in your head. Maybe you're overreacting. The semantics of attraction. There was something that I had said to her, and I was really clear and really grown-ass adult with her. And it kind of made me sad for her, because I was like, has no one really ever said this to you? And she said it back to me, and we were all like, good, and it was all good. And then she acted on it and knew exactly how to act on it and knew exactly how to affect me energetically. Just like when she was like, hey, you want me to come up for like a nightcap? This bitch was not unsmart, okay? She understood, and she understood her currency. Even if she wants to act like she doesn't understand her currency, the wizard understood her currency, and various other people that I was triangulated with understood her currency, okay? She may not want to own it or like it or love it, but it is what it is. You better know what your strong suit is, or what your gift is, and how people read your energy. And if you don't like it, then course correct that. But, and so, as we're going, I'm like, you know what? She is not meeting any of the terms and conditions. I'm giving and giving and giving energetically. And to be fair, my issue with her was the energetic giving. Was she a karmic partner where it cost me stuff financially, emotionally, energetically? Absolutely. But I'm not going to say that she was like, can you pay my bills? Can you pay my telephone bills? Did I pay for things? But that is my nature. One of my love languages, secondary, is gifts, you know, and giving. Did she take advantage to certain degrees? And sometimes, I'm sure, but there were also times the advantage taking that I was really concerned about was the gaslighting, the emotional advantage taking, the future faking, which she did brilliantly. Future faking, and that's when the narcissist pulls you into their shared fantasy. They get you to believe something is going to be or occur or unfold that never is. They just need you to stay in their world and continue to give them the supply of your energy. So she was like, whew, chef's kiss, a brilliant future faker. Moving the goalposts, gaslighting me, doing all kinds of wildness. And it was just, I'm tired of even telling you. I'm tired of the story. I'm tired of it. I'm tired that I lived it. I'm mad that I lived it. I'm sad. But yeah, she was future faking. She did all of that. But there was moments where she would pull her weight, or like she would plan, she did plan a great date or two for sure, and treat me a few times as well, split things with me. So like this wasn't about you use me for my money. I was more concerned about you use me for my energy. Did she like that I was as generous as I was? She sure did. But did I see her hold herself accountable? And I think it was very calculated, to the point of her being like, you can't ever say that I did this, which whatever. It all comes out in the wash, sis. That's fine. But the thing that I can hold you accountable for, and I am, and I will forevermore, is that she did this. She was a liar. She was the lying was pathological. I was like, man, what is happening? You know? Anyway, so we're back, and my angels are showing me other signs and other symbols and all the rest of it. There was a trip that we had talked about where we were going to take. It was for a very special occasion, for celebration of someone in her family. We'd said that I was going to go. I knew I was going to go. We, you know, were around each other a lot in that year. And but after she triangulated me with what her mom said to do, I was like, okay, we're done. And then she gaslit me, and then like she said something to me, and she was like trying to make it like real clear and acting like she'd been saying it the whole time, and I was like, wait, what? And I was like, oh, we're just not, just like I said when I saw the first pink octopus, we're not compatible. Like, this is too much. And also, don't be here out of any obligation or pity or anything. Like, you get to vote with your feet. That's the thing, guys. You can be in a contract with someone, whether it's a friendship contract or a romantic contract, whatever, and decide you don't want to do it and change your mind and just say that. But what made this sinister is that she was like, I am going to breadcrumb you because it's my favorite thing to do. And what I'm going to do is try to extract as much as I can from you. That's where I felt used. Again, it wasn't just the financial part. When I say I lost financially, the very first time that we were together, one of my clients that is one of my, I have a few wealthy clients. One of my wealthy clients had me up for a retreat, and she can have her own issues, God bless. But she did something funny with money, and I was like, this is strange. And then the next trip that I had her on, I had a major client, like a client that if she was only my only client for the year, I'd still eat well. And she was like a top lawyer in the country, and really, really successful. And she was, you know, here's what you need to know about wealthy clients, just as a quick aside. If any of you guys are practitioners out there, they can be very demanding and entitled, and sometimes weird people in their lives that might be the first person to tell them no. Well, anyway, I ended up losing that client, which needed to happen, I think, on some emotional and metaphysical levels too, but I still am counting it as a karmic loss because of the association with that person. And it's so funny because that weekend that I lost that client, I was dealing with an incredible gaslight that I had called her on, just like I asked the cult member, is this a cult? Like, I'm always going to ask the question with my dumb ass. And so I had asked her, you know, like, hey, you just did a really tricky little thing here, you little tricky. And she was like, no, I didn't. Yes, I did. No, I didn't. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? Just say yes or no if this is whatever the thing is. It was just a weird thing. And so I was frustrated about that, but I also had a premonition that something was going to go wrong with my flight out of where we were at. And I literally put the screenshot up. The flight that I was going to be on literally skidded off of the runway because it was snowy, and I did not get on that flight. Specifically, I had an overwhelming, like, foreboding feeling like you're not supposed to fly out today. I even invited her to stay at my friend's house where I was at, and she was like, no, I gotta get back. And I was like, okay, but I'm not getting on my flight. And literally that happened, and then I was dealing with managing and de-escalating that client that I ended up having to walk away from, because there are certain lines that when they get breached across and stuff with certain clients, you just can't go back. But my angels very clearly pointed it out to me. They said, you didn't lose it because this girl told you don't work. That's not at all it. That wasn't what happened. But you lost it because you were out of energetic alignment and vibration. Also, maybe that client had to go. I will say there was other issues with that client, just to be fair. But when we got into the truck and we're heading down the mountain to not go to the airport for me and for her to get to the airport, she's, what's the word? She's indignant, and she's entitled. She's entitled anyway, but she's indignant and disgusted. There was contempt. A look on her face I saw often. There was contempt because I was stressed out and I was not in a good mood. And she looked over at me and she was like, why? And I was like, I'm just stressed out. And she was like, why are you so stressed out? Because she thought that I was stressed out only about her gaslighting me, which was one of the problems I had that weekend. And she thought that that's what I was stressed out about. She was like, so because, you know, the grandiosity of she's the only thing that matters. And I'm like, no, this is real big girl shit. While you're over there playing these fucking reindeer child-ass games, I'm dealing with real consequences, real change potentially in my tax bracket, though. God hired me, as Magic Got the Tea says, who's going to fire me. I'm always very well taken care of. I'm very grateful. But this was real. That's the kind of, when you, it was the kind of client loss that makes you go like, like, fuck. But I didn't share any of that with her because I was in the Gaslight Olympics with her, so I was too busy, you know, dealing with her bullshit to be like, oh, I'm dealing with some real adult life stuff here. And I also am having a premonition that my plane's going to fucking crash, which was on the fucking newspaper. So both of the things that I was worried about were happening in addition to having to deal with this bullshit over here. But she was so, like, contempt filled, like, what are you so stressed about? Because she didn't like that I had held her accountable. She felt like I was going to go into another session or probably talk to her about it. And I'm like, bitch, I got so many bigger things to worry about than you playing these childish fucking games, okay, with yourself. Because you're the one who's going to lose out energetically, even though you think you're winning. That's the thing. People that gaslight you guys are playing a very short game. Because actually, if they were to treat you well and stay in your energy, it would be far more beneficial for them in ways that neither one of you could explain. It's inexplicable. But they get what they get. So whatever they came away with, I hope they won, I guess. But anyway, I will never forget that. I remember thinking, like, what a fucking bitch. Like, no, I'm dealing with, like, a real life, like, financial situation, and also having to manage that client because that was a first for me. I have never really had that happen before or since, but it had so much to do, especially because I think about how gaslighty that moment was for me, and how it was the first time I was like, is this bitch evil? Is this what I think it is? Well, yes. Later we found out it was exactly what I thought it was. That was just that needed to be said. And then I will never forget specifically the way that she was so, like, cocksure of herself, like, Jesus, like, what are you so upset about? And which was also very telling too, had I been paying attention and not freaked out over losing 20 fucking grand. Can we just talk not to be gauche here? But that client was paying me 20 grand a year. And I was like, bitch, you don't matter. You don't even understand the kind of loss that was just now. And yeah, like, I was like, you don't exist. Like, no, this is big girl shit. You can't even relate. You can't even ever relate. So, never in your life have you had something like that happen, and neither had I. So I'm not even trying to be an asshole, but I was just like gut punch, you know? And maybe I was off my game. I'm not blaming it on her again. She didn't say, don't go to work, don't do your job. That was not it. Though, come to think of it. Yeah. careful what you ask for, you just might get it. She definitely had a lot of ideas about relaxing and taking time from working, but that was not something that we was introduced to at that point. And I'm never going to blame anything that happens to that magnitude on anybody, no matter how much they were gaslighting me. I will say, though, I had a few things on my mind, and it wasn't just her. Fast forward to this celebration that I'm supposed to go to. My angel said, you have no business being in there. At this point, they're like, this bitch doesn't like you. And I had told her so. I was like, hey, you don't like me. I think you want to be around me for, like, your own reasons, but you're not sharing what those are. I think you want me to help you build. She kept, the way that she kept moving things and gaslighting me and being like, what if I was a panda that was in Africa? Would you love me then? And I was like, bitch, but you weren't a panda in Africa. This is not how this started. It was so clear. It was so clean. I was so clear and clean with her because of her issues with triangulation. I was, girl, sometimes you just gotta take your L's. So I was like, no, this is you're just playing reindeer games with me because you can, and because you greatly overestimated how much you think I like you, because I'm really good at loving, and so she probably felt that way. Also, at this point, my angels were like, just watch and observe. It's something to teach the collective. You will not extract out of her anything fair, anything. There is no ROI here. There is little bits and bobs and breadcrumbs and trinkets and this and that. I'm never going to lie and say that she didn't do a thing or two or meet me halfway a couple of one times, but I far outgave, and that's just the bottom line. There's no debating it. And so when I came, and always, I'm not just talking about physically, I'm talking about emotionally, energetically, with verbal communication, with honesty, with no gaslighting. It was, the scales were like this, ironically, the scales. So we got to the end of the year, my angels are like, not the end of the year, but like the last quarter of the year, my angels are like, you got to get out of here. I have a video that I recorded last October, and I cannot play it till next October, or this October. They said I needed to wait a year, and it's literally titled The Great Fairy Escape. And I don't know if I'm going to play it. It's me in a raw realization, but they said wait a year. They said play it a year from now, and if you do what we tell you to do, 360 for you, or 180 for you, rather. We'll see. I did do what they said to do. Now, I have no business being at this thing, but I'm still dumb, still invested, still hoping I'm not seeing what I'm seeing. Still, there is more lessons, and I'm going to tell you why they had me go. I'm going to tell you 2 beautiful things came out of it that I needed to know in order for me to have full closure without ever talking to this person again in my life. Thank you, Jesus. So I wasn't going to go. At this point, I was not talking to Bestie about it at all. I was like, I've got to do this on my own. I'm not bringing it before anybody that I think could hate or not hate. Because, when your bestie can, like, see that someone's on some fuck shit with you, even if you and Bestie have had fuck shit, Bestie is Bestie. I'm going to tell you why. We're going to come full circle with the Bestie is Bestie thing. She did a thing, and I was like, the telepathy is still strong. I appreciate you. A lot of love there for that. So, I have no business going. I know I have no business going. You ever been in a thing where you're like, I have no business being in this situation? I had no business going. At this point, everything is a setup. At this point, I feel like enough is enough. I'm sick of it. Enough is enough. I'm done. I'm done being lied to. I'm done being gaslit. I'm done having someone who doesn't like themselves treat me and project onto me how they feel about themselves. I was nothing but kind, nice, and honest. I was honest in a way that she needed, because she doesn't have people in her life that are telling her the truth about her bullshit. And that's it. She invited me in her life. She sought me out, and that's what you get. And it wasn't that I was mean. I was honest. If anything, I was too nice. I'm sure some of you guys will comment below. And you would have been out here, and here. So I'm like, okay, this is a real spiritual warfare test, because I'm getting all these animal symbols and totems and everything. An important part, quickly, that I forgot. The day at Stonehenge, when I saw the first pink octopus, she had on a sweatshirt, because I didn't want to put her picture up here. I found it just recently when I was getting ready to teach this lesson. The way that I cried when I realized how my angels have loved me so deeply and were guiding me away from this insanity the whole time. The day we were at Stonehenge and I see the pink octopus, she has on a pink and purplish tie-dye, like muted color sweatshirt. And the reason that I knew that I wasn't just seeing a random pink octopus because it was a Thursday or whatever day it was because her sweatshirt had the insignia that you see, the picture that's on the thumbnail that's on the screen, but it didn't have all those words. And I got to see the words recently when my angels were like, it's time to teach this. I got to see the words recently. So, God is so good. God is so good. They were watching out for me the whole time because I was in the midst of a very sinister thing, and they were like, "This is not you're not doing this again." All that I saw on her shirt was the insignia, and it said high energy, and it had like hands like this, which to me reminded me of an octopus. It was cartoon hands too, which was very much like the cartoon octopus. In the picture, that octopus doesn't have tentacles. It doesn't have any defining things like the big octopus you see in the first shot on the thumbnail. We're about to arrive there, and we're wrapping it up. Oh, we're landing the plane. I just hear another plane coming in. We're about to land the plane. I have goosebumps. It's so good. She has on that shirt, and I remember saying to her, "I like your shirt." I could have posted a picture, but I'm clearly not going to. That would have been absolutely out of order. But my angel said, go image search it and see if you can find it. But I remember saying to her that day, "I like your sweatshirt," and she was like, "Oh, thanks, whatever." I never looked at the words. Besides high energy and the octopus fingers, because that's what it looked like to me. It's like the sun and the moon holding hands or something. But all I fixated was those little what looked like tentacles to me, and I was like, "Fuck, it's her. I really have to get away from her. My angels are giving me warnings about her." So she was like, "Oh, thanks, whatever." And I have the picture. I didn't even take a picture of her head. It was almost like I knew I was cutting her out. It's just of the insignia right over her like heart area, right? When I go to find the shirt is a psychic line. Some of y'all are clients that I used to work with on the line, and you're here. So you will have goosebumps too. The shirt says, "Call me now." It says something about like, for the psychic in you. Psychic help is always here. My angels in that moment, when they were showing me the octopus when we were in England, were saying, "This is a test, Monette. This is an insidious test. This is bigger than you think. She is darker than you think. She is more calculated than you've given her credit for. She is, what's the word? An interloper and a Trojan horse. Did she ever like you? Ever? Or is she just really the energy or the archetype of, well, like what I think could be like the worst thing is like an insecure sorority sister, because that means that when they get a little leg up on power, they will use it unwieldingly. They're the people that end up unaliving people out of their rage and their inferiority complexes. It's worse than a regular hive mind sorority sister or a sorority sister that has pride and it is healthy. Debatable. But, no offense if you're in a sorority, but if you are in a sorority, you know what I'm talking about, the insecure sorority sister. And back to the power dynamics, I like myself, but in the world, and in a sorority, if I was in a sorority, I would probably be Hazemore just for being fat. And I think in her mind, she was like, how can I flip this and reverse it? You make me feel, fill in the blank. However my energy made her feel, even though all I wanted her to feel was happy, elated, lifted up, supported, understood, fully seen. But it started to switch and get insidious. And this is when people void the soulmate contracts. And I started to ask her questions like, hey, when you met us and we started to like connect, what was your vision? What did you see? And at this point, she's in ego and in how can I hurt and in lower vibration. She's like, I didn't see shit. And maybe she really didn't. But this is like towards the end. So she was being really cruel and really punchy and just saying wild shit. And I was like, fabulous. Fabulous. She went from like grooming to like fuck off. Like it was very, very like the typical stuff. But I was dancing and I was like, okay. And I'm writing because I'm like, okay, this is what we're doing. And so it was very interesting to me. I would say that the insecure sorority sister, and then also I would say like the groupie. And what I mean by that is that she siphons people's energy because she's looking for identity. She still hasn't found identity. And I would have been willing to work with her, but there has to be an integral honesty about your shadow side, and she lied all the fucking time. She wouldn't want to be with a liar. She's been with liars. She wouldn't want to be with a liar. She wouldn't want to be with someone who didn't appreciate her and took her for granted. So I don't know what she was expecting of me. She wouldn't want to be with someone who was breadcrumbing her, moving the goalpost, playing right in her fucking face. How dare she? How fucking dare she? But universe said, get out the way, sis. We gonna work it out. Trust us. And I do. Because they never lied to me, as you can see by that shirt. She was wearing that shirt the first day I saw the octopus. Another shirt helped me have final closure and clarity. I couldn't put everything on the screen, but I'm going to tell you. So, I have no business being in this state. I have no business going. And because they wanted me to get the lesson, it was probably one of the most expensive trips in the last year that I booked. The Airbnb, because of I don't know why, ended up being really expensive. Like every time I would go to book one that was cheaper, it would like be gone, or it would be like the dates weren't right. And so it was the most I ever paid for an Airbnb. It was a really expensive trip that I spent for nothing. And I did some other things that I had volunteered to do, so I'm gonna take that and eat that. She did ask for some help in a certain direction. I was happy to oblige, because I like to leave a parting gift when I'm leaving someone's life. So indeed I did. But when I was up there, I was saying to myself, like, I cannot be back. I'm never going to be back. Da, 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 da. And it wasn't that it was, like, terrible. Now, I will tell you that something that happened. 3 things happened. 2 pieces of information that I got from being at the party that were fantastic. And I was like, and closure, and scene. But the other thing happened is that I had a spiritual warfare attack. Every single time that we were together, we did mushrooms. Most of the times that we were together, we did mushrooms. And that means that we would really connect and vibrate and share great intimacy. And I don't mean like sex or anything like that. Just like really good communication, connection, talking, all that stuff. And so I was so sick. When I say I was so sick, I need some gluten, something with gluten in it. But this was different. And this is, I know, spiritual warfare. I'm allergic to you. That's what it was. I'm allergic to her. That's what they were saying. I was so sick. I remember she had to sit outside one day for an hour because I couldn't even get out of the bathroom to go open the door at the Airbnb. And I'm not, like, both things are true. She bought me ginger tea. She was very nice. She did a very sweet gesture, which I'm also going to tell you is what my angel said. The end and scene. But I couldn't do the mushrooms. I even offered to her, I'm like, you can do it if you want to. She's like, yeah, if you're not going to do them, it's fine. We were not supposed to emotionally connect anymore. No more mind connections for us. No more limerence, no more Shere Khan and the crazy spiral of lies and manipulation and what's the word? Hypnotizing. Like, that's it. It was done. And I was purging the connection is what I realized. You know, we say shaman, I look like this, and so it's like, what does that mean? Because we're used to shamans having like the bones on their neck or whatever. Well, I'm a modern day shaman. Bling, it's me. It's me, sis, who knew? Like, I'm not even saying it like I'm so excited about it. Some of the stuff is terrifying and terrible, okay? But I go. I'm there. I get so absolutely, utterly sick, but I'm going to backtrack real quick. She picks me up from the airport, and what she does, our song is playing. It's a song that we both like and both associate with each other. And she is clever, and she is charming in so many ways. What I want to say about this is that for someone else, she may be an exact perfect friend, match, partner, and soulmate. Whatever configuration I have in my soul and body irritated the shit out of her. And made her so that she wanted to be weirdly competitive, and when I say competitive, like, she wanted to play all these mind games with me and acted like I didn't understand. I don't know why people think I'm stupid. That's really when I get sick of someone, is when they insult my intelligence. That's my pet peeve, really. There's a lot of things I can tolerate, but that's when I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Fuck out of here, as the New Yorkers say. Yeah, they're funny. Yeah, fuck out of here. So she has our song playing. I have called in resources energetically because I'm in spiritual warfare. So I call in some prayer intercessors, real shaman, real. I'm like, listen, I'm going in. I'm going into battle energetically. I don't know what I'm going to be dealing with, but I have got to get the fuck out of this, you know. And so I had people really praying for me. So I like take a snap of that because I knew that was the last time that situation was going to happen. 3 minutes later, we're sliding out of the airport. We're sliding down the road, and that's when that picture of the octopus is there. I felt it before I saw it. My angels just tell me to take pictures of stuff sometimes, and they're like, we'll tell you later, because sometimes I'm in danger, and I don't even realize it. And I felt it before I saw it. I felt something sinister. And right above it, you can't see it because I had to crop it out to make it fit. It says restaurant. Have you ever been swallowed? I want you to look at the juxtaposition of that octopus. And it is a full form mother octopus, and all of the tentacles and every sucker is accentuated. Look at how it started. Pink, cute, cuddly, little, oh so adorable. Take it under your wing. High energy, energy team, energy vampire, energy things. Oh, what confusion the gaslighting brings. An octopus is incredibly intelligent. They can shapeshift before your eyes. They change colors. They adapt to their circumstances. And they can escape out of anything. I couldn't have her have clarification on a single thing if she didn't want to. She was the most slippery and insidious communication connection I have ever been through. It was wild. It was a new species for me. But do you see that picture? What happened was I felt it before I saw it. And we were zooming past, and my angels literally slowed her down at a light. And she was driving, and I was on the passenger side. And it's so funny because normally I would have been in the back seat, but it was orchestrated that I was in the front seat for that week, which was very abnormal for me. And because of that, I saw it, because in the back seat I would have never even seen it out of my periphery. And I had to crane. You can't tell it from the angle, or maybe you can. I had to crane to take the picture, and I didn't even know if I got it. I was like, click, click, click. I just knew. I was like, fuck. Now, when I examined it later, and that I didn't examine it on that trip at all. It wasn't until I was like, okay, now it's go time. We're parachuting the fuck out of here. I'm the Marines. I get it. I've learned all the lessons. I'm not doing another cycle with this crazy person or entity. Because I feel like demonic entities like body hop. Did she start out nice and meaning well? I don't know. Oh, the longer I sit on it, the more I may think this whole thing was a plot and a scheme that Todd set up to come to us with the bullshit from the beginning. I don't know. I'm still making decisions on it. What I do know is it was insidious. What I do know is that she was calculated. What I do know is that she lied. Those are facts. Lied and denied and played mind games and laughed about it and made me the butt of jokes to her friends and family and used it for fodder because it was the most interesting thing that had happened in her life ever, maybe, or at least in a while. That part. So I take a picture of that octopus. When I look at the picture later, I see the X through it. My angels were screaming at me at this point, and this is why I say, while it's a funny story to sit through, know what your animal totems are and how they're communicating with you. When I saw it, I was like, oh fuck. Also, that is one of the most sinister, evil ass looking octopuses that I've ever seen. Octopi, whatever, that I've ever seen. And it was in alignment with the devolution of her behavior. Because she thought the discard of me. It said, gotcha, bitch. I was one up on her. I was like, man, I've been grinding on my life. I've been grinding on my life. You are not my first low vibrational energy vamp, a vulnerable narcissist, new species. We're getting there. So I had taken that picture and I was like, oh God. Have you ever been swallowed? They said she is about to pierce her beak, because octopuses have beaks and that's how they eat, through your crown chakra, and she wants to feast. They literally showed her sucking all of me out and emptying me, because the more I was around her, the worse I felt. Did you know when you go, it's a perfect ending to the bad day? Every part of the day wasn't bad. We laughed. We had jokes. She was charming. She was interesting. She breadcrumbed me with the little bit of stuff that she wanted to. She was indignant and absolutely boundaried when she wanted to be too. She did mean things to me that she told me. I have never done this to anybody else in my life. But the 1, 2, or 3 things that I needed or wanted that she could actually reciprocally pay me back with, she was like, I absolutely won't. And I love it. She didn't have to, but what she should have said was, I'm not going to do this, and then be out of here. But then she couldn't feast off of the supply. Beak through the crown, have you ever been swallowed, take you down. This is so powerful, guys. This is so powerful, because that happened. I get so sick, I'm purging it. I even make a video, and I still am not fully associating it with her. I thought I was maybe purging something for the collective. You can hear me in the video. It's where this like demon's like eating this girl's face. That was my experience when I was purging in my body for someone playing in my face. I didn't realize it was about her, but they're like, oh, we're going to connect all of these dots. So she's this insidious octopus. The last thing that she did for me, the last knife gesture that she did for me was, I hadn't talked to her at all because my angels were instructing me to gray rock, but they said do it in pop culture, like do it pop culturally. So instead of talking deeply like I was about all of my businesses, I'm like, is she just an op? She's just in here trying to like figure out shit and like eat me and like kill me. Like, what is happening? And they were like, stop talking to her about real shit. So I would just talk to her like ad nauseum about celebrity shit. In fact, it was so funny. The last conversation we had, I remember her being like, me talking to her like 20 minutes about celebrities and pop culture news. And then her being like, how are you doing? Because people that are trying to vamp off you, she didn't give a fuck about how I was doing. If she did, she would have been honest with me. If she did, she would have gaslit me. If she did, she would have not played semantics with me about words. Like, you know, that's what people do when they care about you. When they don't care about you, they do anything else. And so I was like, bitch, you don't care how I'm doing. You just want to know what my business is. So I told her a fairy tale because she was a fairy. So that part, I was like, oh, here's how I'm doing. Excellent. My point in saying that was, the last night's gesture, that she did for me, we were talking about, she had been watching my channel. Remember, if you guys have been watching, I've been like trying to get to 1,000 videos, and I never really talked to her about it. Like, I talked to her about my channel towards the beginning, but then when I started to feel all weird sinister vibes and like she's not going to stay in my life and what is she here for and what are we doing, because I had encouraged her to start a YouTube channel. And I had talked about some things on my channel, and then she took it and ran with it in the best way. I was never going to do what she did. That was for her to do. I have no feelings about that other than, like, good for you, literally. Like, I am a girl's girl who roots for a win and magic, and she made some magic. And I was actually, like, really impressed and proud of her. I thought she was interesting and had a story to tell. And I still do. It's just not a story I'm ever going to want to know about or believe. Okay? Good luck to everybody else. Sorry to that man. I want no parts. But I think that she could be galvanizing and fascinating to a lot of people. I'm wondering what level of psychopathy is happening with her, that she, or just like straight out bold-faced ass pathological lying. Maybe it's not even as deep as psychopathy. Maybe it is. Maybe there's real mental illness. I don't know, but what I don't do anymore is stick around to ask 25 more questions to find out. Because what I saw was cruelty. From that first time when she was like, what are you so upset about when I lost that huge client, right down throughout the whole year, there was little pockets of that mean-ass, mean girl sorority shit. And that let me know that she feels very disempowered in her life, that she would behave that way. Or that's really her threshold. She's not the nice, sweet, little cuddly octopus. Who the fuck she is that. Also understand this. What happens when we feed these vampiric energies is they start out cuddly and sweet, and then they turn into that. And she was beefy and meaty, not in real life, but in that picture that my angel showed me with my spiritual sight. And now you can see it, and you needed to, because this has happened to you, and you can use it so it doesn't happen to you. They were like, you see what your energy does? You bring better luck. You're switching karma with her. When I say I could clock some losses financially, emotionally, and energetically, that's the financial part specifically is a thing that I've healed in my life. Money and I are friends. When I walk into a room, money finds me, okay? Like, I take care of myself. I took care of myself when I was broke. If I broke, I ain't got it, and I was making $4 or $5 an hour. I take care of myself. I vacation when I was broke. So this is not about being bougie or extra or whatever. What has happened in my life regarding money had to do with a lot about healing and worth. Losses in money mean you have a karmic partner. Does that make sense? And there were choices that I made, so I'm taking full responsibility. You can't do anything without responsibility. Taking responsibility. But I understand that that is an issue in an area in her life. And they were like, you switching karma right before your eyes. And I was like, absolutely not, I'm not. Absolutely not. The two ways that my angels can scare me away from someone is show me spiders and octopuses. Now, and then tell me, you want to be broke? Like, you know, it's like a parent that's like, you gonna act right? Like, that's when I'm like, oh, okay, got it. Sorry, my bad. So, anyway, I see the, where am I at? I see the octopus, and they're like, this is what happens, and tell the collective is what they said. When you guys feed these lower vibrational people and you allow them to just suck off you, you think it's harmless and you're people pleasing and you're being codependent in your own way, right? Because I had to think about what needs was she meeting that I stayed. Because the whole fucking time I was with her, after she dropped off the beautiful gift of human design to me, she was nothing but a depletion to my energy. She was undermining me. She was ungrateful. It was like, and I gotta say this, someone that says thank you to you, and it's not to say that she didn't say thank you to me, okay? So I am gonna be so fair. That's why you guys need to hear this, because it can be this and that too. Yes, with her words she said thank you, and with her attitude she said fuck you. She said, I guess. I'm not impressed. I've made videos about this. You can maybe piece it together and understand. I was going through a thing. And what will we do as empaths and recovered codependents is like, well, and I was like, no, homie, I'm not going to I have nothing to prove anymore. I have nothing to prove. I've proven it. I know what you were in previously to this. Your own mother said that it was the fucking hood, the ghetto, and the slums. Not literally, and maybe it was that too, but actually, that's your mother describing your previous relationship and connection, and then you come to me, which is first class. And I don't mean literally. I do mean literally, but figuratively and emotionally and spiritually, the upgrade was astounding. And then actually too, a little first class a couple of times too, and experiences. And so it was like, now I will tell you, there were times when my angels were like, she doesn't appreciate this, stop doing this person does not care about you. This is not even about, does she love you? It's like, does this person have basic human affection for you other than you're an interesting specimen who seems stupid? That was how she felt about me. Like, that's really it. If she had feelings, those were the feelings. Which was like, dummy, thanks, yoink. I'll take your energy. I'll take whatever your juju is. That was really what I was really covetous of. I was like, get the fuck up off my juju. Absolutely not. So that's what it looks like. It grows to that. I am done with it. I'm disembarked. I keep forgetting the story. This is the final no, I should say. She brings me out a little cake, and it's so cute. It's a surprise. Surprise, surprise. I was genuinely surprised. I had purposely not put a lot of energy into, like, wrapping gifts intricately and doing a lot of stuff. I literally had them chucked into a box. I had some stuff that I got for her before I was really understanding I was going to disembark, and I was like, I'm never a gatekeeper. You know, like, any way that I could have been of service to her. I believe in the rule of camp, especially if you're dating someone that's a little bit younger than you, is to leave the place better than you found it. I was a Girl Scout for many years, so you leave the place better than you found it. And it doesn't have to be about younger. It's just in any relationship, ideally, you don't want to leave someone obliterated, even if they're a piece of shit, and they're trying you and lying to you. Leave it better than you found it. So I shared, when she asked me about makeup and all that stuff, I was like, yeah, happily, whatever, and here's some of my favorite palettes and all that stuff. I was happy to do that. She also gave me trinkets and gifts as well, too. So, fair, both things can be true, but I was still dealing with insidious bullshit as well. So she comes in, she has this beautiful gluten-free cake. It has candles on it, and it says 1000K. It said 1K on it. I cried. Because I am in my mind, like, am I reading this right? All of the things that have happened this whole time, am I getting it right? Because there were these moments when she was so sweet and then absolutely cruel and mean and acted like she had forgotten that we'd ever met before. It was the craziest thing to me. So she has a cake, and I start crying. My angels say, take a picture. You know something's coming when they say take a picture. So I do. I take a picture. But here's what happens. The camera flips back to me because I'm crying, so all you see is my blurry face. And that day, I was so sick. I had on no makeup, nothing. You see my blurry face. And I couldn't even really see well because I was crying. And I was like, oh my God, this is so sweet. But I flip it back. I quickly take a picture. When I take the picture, because there's candles on it, I have to make a wish. But instead of a wish, I have a petition to my angels. And I say, are you guys sure? Because I'm confused in that moment, looking at that little baby cake that is my favorite flavor. Like, I'm like, how, SwALLoWeD, can she be so good and this fucking evil? And they were like, that's why you have to get out of here. This one will obliterate your soul. You can run and never look back. Run away, burn it, bury it, salt it, never look back, because she is so manipulative and so good. And maybe she has good intentions on Thursday, but then the shit clicks in her brain and she's like, fuck you. And it's like quiet, subterfuge, subterranean, manipulative, gaslighting ass warfare. It wasn't what I was used to. I'm used to, we going up, it's up and it's stuck. I'm used to, like, you know, having to like brawl with someone energetically, those overts. This new species of vulnerable, I was like, what is this? Who said that? So I'm looking at this little baby cake. It's lemon and blueberry, my favorite fucking flavors. So happy. It has this beautiful vanilla buttercream icing. It's thoughtful. She surprised me. No one surprises me. She did things during the time that we were around each other, together, whatever. She did things that I was like, this is so lovely. Oh, be still my crying heart. Only to fucking shank me with some bullshit later, and non-communication and all of the rest of it. I mean, and the non-communication was the whole time. I can't even say there was a specific time where she didn't communicate. The whole time she was pretending to communicate. I don't know what's happening. So I say to the angels, not like, can I keep her? Because that's creepy. But I was like, are you guys sure? I literally said, are you guys sure? I take a picture. I don't even think about it. When I have walked away and I was sure, I was like, oh, they were sure. They were like, go back and look at those pictures. When I went to post the pictures on my social, the only one I had, because I don't really do social stuff like that, I look at the picture. I was so sick that day I didn't look at her. And I normally would have noticed what she was wearing, but I didn't. I was so sick. I was fighting for my fucking spiritual life, is what I realize now. She had on a shirt that said, it had the Coke insignia on it, you know, the swoop of the Coke. And the candle light was right at her chest where the graphic part was. And the swoop was swooping. Except it didn't say C-O-K-E. It said N-O-P-E. Nope. Let's hear it for the angels. They never miss. And when they love you, and when you are tapped in spiritually, sis, they will talk to you that directly. For all I know, she felt like I was the devil too, and she wanted to just try me, and maybe she was getting signs that I was on devilry as well. But what I do know is that we were both supposed to tell each other go to hell. I know that for a fact. Energy is shared. I woke up bored. I woke up disconnected. I was over it. I was like, I don't put energy in this shit anymore. I don't give a fuck about what soulmate contract there is. This bitch is draining. And whatever. She could be thinking the same thing about me. She could be like, this old bitch. This old fat bitch. I don't know what she was thinking. I don't give a fuck. When I saw the shirt said nope, and the light was on it, and the angels had told me to take a picture that I didn't even see when I took it, because I had tears in my real eyes, because I was like, are you guys sure? Because I was like, this is so sweet. And they were like, yeah, we real sure. Nope. Go back and look at the octopus X. SwAlLoWeD. You guys see how they communicate with you in symbology? I contacted a shaman. I had a prayer warrior intercessor friend, but I didn't tell him the full details of anything I was going through. I just said, your girl's outside, and I'm up against a new species, and I have spiritual work to do. And they're like, we got you. Get the fuck away from it. Get the fuck away from her. She doesn't like you. She hates you. And I'm not a person that will take that energy. I was really offended the whole time in our connection, because she kept triangulating me and getting a lot of energetic advice. She never told me this, but people don't realize I'm psychic. I can literally hear people's conversations. She was talking to her mom. She was talking to other people and all that stuff. And I was like, man, why aren't you talking to me? Here's the thing. A connection could be divine. We might have been. We could have had, might have been. Could have been. Who knows? But she was not standing on business, as we all say now. And this is what happens. If you have a real, true, divine partnership with somebody, it'll get tested in every single way. I have been to this rodeo before, so I stopped it. I was like, bestie, nope. You don't get to say anything. Mama, nope. You get to know that this person's name is this and whatever. Sis, nope. I didn't take any, no one could say one single word to me about her. which left a lot of room for my angels to do the talking, which means that I wasn't unsure when they were like, nope, get out. That's another thing. Oh my God. I had a great reading with a client where we were talking about tethered energy, and I kept getting this imagery of these bunnies with the red eyes, and I went to a house where one of my clients was dying, and this is before she died, and there was 3 bunnies. The 3 of Cups triangulation. There was 3 bunnies with the red eyes that were in her yard. I took the picture. I have the picture. Y'all, they talk to you. They talk to you. Tethered. That was us. They talk to you. They're like, do you want to be tethered to this person? She doesn't want to be tethered to you, and she's going to treat you like shit. She's going to run your ass through the mud. Her only goal is to treat you like shit. She doesn't appreciate you. She doesn't value you. She doesn't even understand any of this. She's not near as spiritual. Ironically, while I took umbrage and issue with her trying to say projection to me, I had to give it to her. She was right. I projected my spirituality. I projected my humanity. I projected kindness. I projected that she had empathy. Okay, she understood how to do it for whomever she would want to, whoever she was centering. Ironically enough, if it was a masculine energy, she would have had plenty of that. She would have figured that out. But and I'm not even talking about like gay or straight. I'm just talking about there are certain people, or you know, I don't even think it's that. There was other stories that she told me where I could see the superficiality that she did center, so that, with women too, but it was like someone who would have been able to validate her in the pecking order of life. Sorority sister energy, as much as she could say she valued me and my spirituality, she really wasted no time trying to treat me like shit, which was wild to me because she just felt like she could because society said. It wasn't for any reasons of how I treated her or what I did or didn't give her. It was just to play with my head. It's because she could. Because she felt like she had a little bit of power. And she felt like the power dynamic was that I liked her a lot more than I did. I'm good to everybody that's in my life. That kind of good. Exactly the kind of good I was to her. I'm good to everybody that way. If I love you and you're in my life, I'm going to be good to you. But I think, you know, because that's not something she's experienced before, she was like, oh man, I had the jackpot. This dumb bitch, this fat bitch, this dumb fat bitch. Like she let old dude call me when we were in, when we were out of the country, and showed it to me because fucking she's so sweet. That part. So my angels were like, no, you keep forgetting that it's a nice little thing like this, and then it's like bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. And when I tell you the new year began, and it was immediate bullshit, and my angels were like, we told you to be done with this 2 months ago. You recorded that video 2 months ago. What are you doing? You're still here. You're supposed to be gone by now. And this is what happens when you don't listen, guys. And this is such a great lesson because every time I think I've learned it, here we go. Towers will start to fall. And what that means is that people's toxic behavior will escalate. And they will start to try to groom and condition you to accept bullshit, toxic ass behavior, which is exactly what she was doing. And it wasn't even that I was like, oh, we can work it out. I was like trying to sneak away because I was like, I'm done talking to her. You know, I will talk to someone that I think I can actually affect change with, who's actually listening, who's introspective, who's taking any level of responsibility. She has so much shadow and is so, like, unaware about that. Or maybe she's fully aware about that and was like, maybe she was like, bitch, I'm trying to save you. Get the fuck away from me. I don't know. But either way, I was like, bitch, I gotta go. Thanks so much. Because I had no business being there. You know, it's funny. She sent me the Airbnbs to look at, and it's because I hadn't booked. And I knew exactly because we communicated without talking. She's got her own gifts, unfortunately. And when I say unfortunately, I mean I think she'll just use them for bullshit. Unfortunately, it's such a waste. But she sent them to me. Normally, I would have booked an Airbnb in like 20 minutes, but because it was all those snafus. Well, first of all, it took me 3 days to even open the link because I had no business going, and so my angels taxed my ass. This will be one of the most expensive trips. It was so funny. Towards the end of it, there was a funny thing that happened. That was part of the tax. What happened at the end was the tax. So that happened, and I had no business being there. It was time to go. I had no business being there. The other thing that happened was there was something that her mother said that was a really important piece of information about someone else in her family, and it gave me insight into the energetic behavior that she traffics in. And then one of her mother's friends said to me, because everyone's always trying to like figure out and size me up in their own way, and her mother's friend was like, oh, this is the friend that, you know, my daughter so-and-so has been. And she was like, oh, you're the one. Now, she wasn't supposed to say this, y'all. But when I say, for the way that the girl had been acting, she said, oh, this is the one that blank is obsessed with, that's been taking her around the world. Gotcha, bitch. Don't let these assholes gaslight you that you are not one of the most magical people that's ever been in their life. The mother did the nudge to the friend. She wasn't supposed to say that. I don't even know that the person that was in my life that I used to know, the entity, I don't even know that she said that to her mother or said that to her friend. What I heard, because my angels love me so much, was the assessment that the mother and the friend were falling between each other as they were trying to figure out what the fuck and who the fuck I was, because the mother was threatened and, you know, all the rest of that, like, who is this bitch? And she was threatened, like, weird shit, and it's petty shit, so I can't even, like, get into that. But I understood it. People don't understand that. Sometimes when we come to people's lives, we will affect change. And I'm sure her mother was like, oh, I don't trust her for whatever reason, but I never lied. I never denied, and I was always gracious. Y'all were the ones that were shady. It was never me. But what I will tell you is this. I wasn't supposed to hear that. But I did hear it because my angels were like, please soothe your soul. Because don't let this troll try to make you think that what happened here wasn't an incredible situation. We dare her to replicate it. If we paid her $1 million, she couldn't. Energetically, the fullness of it. I'm not just talking about the financial part. I'm talking about what my spirituality offered, all the rest of it. But she was doing a fantastic job at gaslighting, undermining me, except I was watching her. So it was like it was happening, and I'd be like, hey. And she'd be like, But what her mother's friend said was the real fucking truth. Oh, you're the person that this person's obsessed with that's been taking her all around the world. She was also sizing me up because I don't look like what it looked like. And I think that had so much to do with everything. There was a high level of superficiality, far more than I accounted or ascribed to her. Actually, I didn't think she was that superficial, but she clearly is and was. Now, let's wrap it fully and totally. It's over. I'm assembling. I'm seeing the thing. That day that my friend said, are you okay? How's it going? I had texted her something and it said, I just feel like I'm inviting confusion into my life. That is a telltale sign that you're dealing with a narcissist, vampire of any kind. Confusion. The devil. I don't care. Even if she's not a narcissist, but I think she might be to a certain degree. Not a full-blown overt. She's not. She's not full-blown overt. And that's, to be fair, 3131 is the angel number here on the building across from me. Anyway, confusion. I felt very disoriented with her, and it's a feeling she had described in one of the relationships she had been in that was narcissistic. I felt all that ShareCon shit, and my angels are like, you got to get out of here because she's a liability to your very livelihood. You can't. People trust you to know what you're talking about and to have clarity. And the more you're around her lying ass because she's unhealthy and unwell and mentally ill, you are losing your grip and balance on yourself. Have you ever been swallowed? Look at that big ass, sinister ass octopus. This is probably one of the more dangerous connections because I let her so close into me. I let her into my life. I really, really liked her vibe for a certain time. She seemed like she could be really awesome, and people that are hustlers are that. And so, yeah. Your girl was outside, and she almost got took, except my angel said, absolutely not. Let's talk about the swallow. So I'm assembling all the pictures, and on my shorts comes up out of nowhere an octopus that has swallowed the cage and is eating the fish out of the cage, except the octopus, we see it breaching, and it is bright orange, which is a very significant color of sacral that was very prevalent between us. We see it breaching. And it's breaching because the goat has grabbed it out. There's always someone bigger. And thank God for us empaths, it's God in our spirit team. So the octopus was like, time's up. Thanks for fishing for me. I'm going to take all of this energy out of this cage, all of these fish and morsels, all of your catch. And the boat, which would be the figurative arm of God, was like, what you gonna do? Thank you. Next. Then another short like that popped up, just randomly, y'all. I was getting all kind of octopi. This is how you know that you're getting shamanic hits and energetic inferences octopuses that you are in danger in order to pay attention to this. Another one, and this one was far more sinister. This octopus didn't want to let go. They had to like rip the fish out of its mouth, and it was like snarly and whatever, but each time it's an octopus that thinks it's finally caught something, a big old catch, a big old juicy catch, and it's getting yoinked up onto the boat where its life will end, because they're not going to just throw it back and be like, live another day to catch our next bait. So my angels are like, we always had you. And when she had on the shirt with the insignia that was literally for a psychic line, and it was like my angel saying we were on the main line. Jesus on the main line. Tell them what you want. God had me. God hired me. Who's going to fire me? God had me the whole time. God was like, listen, we know that you're distracted, sis, because there's limerence and there's Shere Khan, all this, and there's words that she's saying that are so nice, and there's gestures that are really sweet at times, and there's food that she's cooking that tastes mighty fine. But she's on demon time. Goddamn. Goddamn, goddamn, goddamn. Assembling the pictures, and now we're done. And this is where we come back to the pink, and it's a full home run. I got hired recently to go to a corporate event, so I was looking at things to do in the city. And hold that thought. I'm assembling the pictures, all the octopuses, the screenshot of the text to my friend that's like, I'm inviting more confusion into my life, this girl. And what I said that was very specific in that was, but she insists on staying, because I kept being like, go away, go away. She kept trying to like break up with her, whatever. And I kept being like, Lord, pass this cup before me. But God was like, no, it's not that easy. You need to pass this cup before you with your spirituality. You like pray and pass this cup before me. We're showing you that you need to be better about paying attention, because as you level up, there'll be more insidious connections like this that want to be stuck to you. And if you are vulnerable, then you will not be impervious to be took the fuck down. And we'll always rescue you and help you not be blindsided. But how much time will you have wasted? How much money will you have spent? How much energy will you have wasted? How many hours of content will you have not made for the collective because you were on some fuck shit with someone that didn't even like you the whole time? That part. That's the real lesson about wasting your time in these areas, energies, and these connections that mean absolutely nothing. This person never liked me. Girl, I'm embarrassed. She never liked me. It was a shiny thing. No object permanence. It was a shiny thing, and she was like, ooh, let's see how long this dummy will let me feed off of her. Sometimes we beat a dummy. That's my humility. That's hard to say, but I had to learn that lesson the real way. Now, taking the pictures. Octopus. In my screenshots, I see 2 spiders. How do they get here? 2 spiders on the very morning that I'm like, okay, I'm assembling, it's like the murder board, like drawing the lines, like, okay, and I'm seeing how the angels were in the midst of it the whole time. There's 2 spiders. One spider is like a little spider. It looks like it's in a house. Another spider is a big spider the size of my hand, and it's an earring. So the belly is the post that would go through your ear. So the legs extend up like this. I do not like spiders. I have arachnophobia. I would never take these pictures. How do they end up in my gallery? I freak out. I open it up to see where the information is, and it said it came from WhatsApp. I've already blocked her on WhatsApp, so there's no reason that this should be coming. She would not send me pictures of spiders. I've never talked to her about that specifically. My best friend, who, mind you, y'all, full transparency, I pushed back during this whole situation because I didn't know what I was dealing with, and I didn't want any, unlike the person I was dealing with, who was like, everybody in the pool, everybody, let's talk about this, except for the person I'm fucking dealing with. And really, talk about what? She wasn't really considering me or vetting me or any of that stuff. She just was using it because it made her feel important. It was very narcissistic. It just made her feel like, oh my god, this is so fucking amazing. I'm amazing. Okay, well, repeat it. Rinse and repeat that. But the thing about it is that my bestie, who again, when I say from a distance, because I went through a situation where I was flipped. I was my bestie, and my bestie was me, meaning, I don't know how to explain it. I had a friend in my life who I saw have a toxic person like what the person I was dealing with, and I told her, and I was like, hey, watch out, look out below, and it just obliterated the friendship, even though I was right, and later she was like, hey, so everything you said happened. Sorry about that. Sorry that I treated you like shit. But with my bestie, I was like, okay, I'm going to try to manage this and not Even if she's, and my bestie didn't really say anything. She wasn't like she hates you or any of that. She didn't even get to weigh in on it, really. I wouldn't allow her to, because I wanted to not like be brainwashed at all. Ironically, right? I wanted to make sure the decision came from me because I'm a grown-up. Unlike what I was watching happen on the other side, I was like, I'm not 12 and I don't need everyone's fucking opinion. I have my own adult opinion, and this is wild. And so what my bestie did text me that morning was, are you okay? Because she knows that when spiders show up, usually had to do with my ex. And ironically, this person reminded me of my ex. It was like she body jumped, except it was different lessons and in different ways. Worse communication even than my ex, which I didn't even think was possible. But she reminded me very much of that. It was, and that was specifically why they were saying you got to get out. They were saying you're about to do another cycle, and you could not be in another 7, 10, 20-year cycle with someone that doesn't care about you at all. There's nothing good. The best thing that happened was in the first 2 months, and she put human design in your hand, and that is the best thing. That's the only good thing that's ever going to come from this. But my bestie had said to me, are you okay? Because the spider was in her house. She was like, it's spring, but I don't really have spiders. My bestie has pest control. She lives in a really beautiful big space. That's not her life. And she said, and this earring showed up on my feed, like on her Facebook feed. And I was reading, because everything is tarot card. That spider was about to crawl into the ear. And it was fucking huge. As huge and as sinister and as leggy as the octopus that you saw and that you see on the thumbnail. So what my angels were doing was they were making sure that I connected the dots, even though I had not taken the picture and I had not even seen or read her WhatsApp. I only knew it came from WhatsApp because I looked at the info, because I was freaked out. I was like, Angels, did you just throw the spider here just to make sure I knew? And they were like, yeah, well, we did. We had her do it. And again, she knew nothing about any of it. She didn't know I had talked to shamans, none of it. But she was like, are you okay? Because she knows that for me, spider symbology, she knew it had to do with me. She was like, when I saw the spiders, I just knew it had to do with you. I was like, no, I'm not okay. I'm going through spiritual warfare. Please pray for me. That's all that I said to her. I was like, I'm going through heavy spiritual warfare. See, that person, if you saw her in person, you'd be like, she's dope as fuck. She's cool as fuck. You're not going to think all that's happening. But this is what your angels want you to know after all of this long-ass talking. If you could see their lower vibrational self, would you want to love them? Would you want to spend time with them? Would you want to sleep with them? Would you want to cuddle with them? Would you want them in your life? You wouldn't. And just to drive the point home, they showed me something that was pink-toed, and it was a tarantula. When I got booked for my corporate event, I was looking up things to do, and one of the things in the state that I'm going to was to go to an aquarium, or whatever, terrarium, aquarium, I don't know. But it housed this new species, full circle. Vulnerable narcissist, new species. Never seen it, don't even know how to deal with it. What is this? Or a species that's rare, whatever. And it was a pink-toed tarantula. All of this happened within moments of me opening and seeing the spiders while I'm organizing the octopus photos and the shorts so that I could upload the shorts. The shorts should be under my video so you guys can go see the visual depiction of being fucking swallowed and also being rescued, thank God, by someone above us and our angel team. So that was there. The pink-toed tarantula, it was huge. It was so huge I couldn't look at it because it's nightmare fuel. That is my worst nightmare. And I was like, pink-toed tarantula? I didn't even know such a thing even existed. And it was so symbolic because this girl is very colorful. Also, that shirt that had the high energy thing had the pinks and the purples and the, it was that kind of blushy energy and whatever to it. Pink-toed tarantula. And my angel said, yes, sis, this is what her soul is. God damn. They said, this is what her soul is. It's not even a laughing matter. Like, I can tell a story and it can be funny, y'all. This shit freaked me out, man. I was in as much danger as they said. I thought I was overreacting. Okay, see, I had started to gaslight myself. I was like, her? It can't. No. And they said, would you want to get in bed with this tarantula? The tarantula is fucking huge, guys. Like, I don't even recommend you go look at it. I'm mad I'm saying it this much because I don't even want my algorithm to hear it and pick it up. But, a pink-toed tarantula, and this girl was very colorful, and that's one of the things that attracted me to her, was that she was beautiful and colorful. One of my favorite pictures of her is of her in Morocco, and she has all these braids in. Now, oh god, the piece de resistance. It reminds me of the box jellyfish with all those beautiful tendrils. And here's how I knew I had to get the fuck out, for real. So the pink-toed tarantula shows up, and I was like, and they were like, listen, someone's gonna get into a pairing that is right for them, maybe even me. But there's two birds that just flew by that were in perfect synchronicity. The pink-toed tarantula, and they were like, if you pull back the covers on your bed and this was there, would you want to cuddle up to it? And I was like, absolutely not. I would die. You couldn't pay me $1 million to get into bed with that thing, because it's like my worst fucking nightmare. And they're like, she was your worst nightmare. The way that she was about to treat you and about to do you, and the way that she was going to not just disrespect you, but discard you, pull you back in, mind games, all that stuff. They said, this is your worst nightmare. And they said, we needed you to see what her energy really is. And you know, there's a part of me that's altruistic that's like, maybe she wouldn't be for someone. I don't give a fuck. I'm not looking back. I don't care. I don't want to know her. She doesn't exist in my world other than as a lesson. The only thing that she couldn't breadcrumb me with is the most abundant lesson, okay? That's where the loaf was cut full, and it wasn't just little drippings and droppings as per her fuckery. So, yeah, pink-toed tarantula. That's not the bed that I want to be in, and it's not the bed you want to be in. They said, if you could envision the people that you love and are spending all this time and putting all this attention on, that's what is underneath it. For whatever it is that is your great fear. Maybe for you it's a scorpion, maybe for you it's a snake, I don't know. But for me, a tarantula that's crawling up the side of the wall that's the size of like 2 dogs, yeah, that did it. That was it. That was it. Now let's talk about the box jelly in finality. As I'm contemplating one day in bed, because I'm like, I'm mad at myself. I'm like, fuck, why did I do this? Why did I let her in? I feel sick. You know that sick feeling when you realize, like, you've been friends with the killer, like, that feeling. And I was like, God, I let her so in. I really liked her. I did really like her, except I didn't really like her because she was making me feel very disoriented, and she wasn't an uplifter to my energy. And so it was so interesting because, like I was like, oh no, conventionally, like I do, and she does, like, really sweet things and whatever, but everybody, even a pink, how did the tarantula's toes get pink? I'm sure it's from something it eats or whatever, but why God decided that there needed to be a pink-toed tarantula, only Jesus knows. Even tarantulas have wonderful attributes. Who the fuck knows? So, anyway, my husband calls out for me from the bathroom. I'm literally, like, sitting in my office, and he calls out to me from the bathroom. He's like, are you trying to kill me? And I'm like, what happened? But in my office, I'm sitting and I'm thinking about how I got into this, how close I left this person to me who hates me, how much I allowed her to play in my fucking face. Why didn't I just break it off when we were, you know, the first time she gaslit me and lied to me or tried me or triangulated me. You know, just all the things you think when you're mad at yourself. Empath, y'all know. You know, someone here is not in their head. You know, I'm just so upset with myself because I teach this. How did I get here? And they're like, because you needed to teach it better. You needed just to get better and better at it and realize that that could be a weak point for you. And before we level you up and really bless you, you have to not be able to be got like this, like, or susceptible to someone, and trust them, cut them off the first time it's a lie. Like, the only reason she got back, and which is my theory, which was put to the test and I failed it, is when you're attracted to someone, energetically, spiritually, actually, physically, sexually, whatever way, and she was dope in other ways. It wasn't just a physical thing. I really thought that she was interesting, but I realize now, shit, it was all lies, man. It's all just a limerence and a trick. But anyway, my husband's like, you trying to kill me? What had happened was, because of how my energy works, sometimes I will blow out a light bulb, sometimes things will fall off the wall, sometimes TVs have exploded. So my husband keeps light bulbs on hand, and he understands that depending on how I'm feeling emotionally, that something could move in the house. We also have other paranormal stuff happens. I'm a real psychic. Shit happens. People communicate with me. I'm not a medium, but people come through. Shit happens. Bugs, all that stuff. Like, if I'm dealing with drama with, like, a person, I have animal totems. Birds will walk up to me. I'll see the spider on the floor, like shit like that. So apparently a picture that I had made, I had painted it, and I had fashioned it out of the beads of a bracelet from an overt narcissist as a reminder to never get got like that again. I made it into a box jelly. I used, like, an old jacket. I upcycled it, and I have a video somewhere on here. If I can find the video, maybe I will link it below so that you can see what it is. But that, I keep it above the bathroom door because my bathroom is like, you know, beachy water themed. And I keep it above the bathroom door as a reminder, never more, never more. I'm so good on an overt, like I could see them coming a mile away. These new species, though, that tripped me up a little bit. And so, the painting out of nowhere after being stationary, the last time I took it down was in the video that I will try to find and link below, has been up there with no problem. It's anchored up there very well. It fell on top of my husband's head. Have you ever been swallowed? I have dated people that have wanted my husband dead. Like, I've had, you know, some encounters. I know that sounds crazy and a wild thing to say, but that's true. People get weird, like wish him unwell and stuff like that. I don't want to be too, like, you know, weird. It is YouTube, but I think you guys can understand. It kind of shocked me. And so I would cut them out, obviously, and be like, oh, maybe they like me too much and this is bad. I don't think that this person gave a damn about my husband at all. I don't think she liked me. I don't think she cared about my husband, meaning, like, I don't think that she had any animosity. I think she pretty much felt like her position in my life was very solidified. I don't think that she did that. But what was happening was that I was thinking about her and about how I got into this and being like, you know, even though I had already cut and moved and blocked and done the things, and they were like, nah, just in case you aren't sure, after the pink-toed tarantula and the sinister-ass octopus and the triangulation and the gaslighting and the mind games and the rudeness and the cruelty and the entitlement and the you name it, just in case you're not sure, we're going to throw this thing that you made that specifically symbolizes narcissistic characters, low vibrational vampires, and energies in your life. And it's going to almost fall on your husband's head. Until I finished doing a lot of rituals and cleansing and disconnecting from her energetically, I left it there on the ground. I was never going to touch it. I actually thought maybe it should just not even go back up. Like, I didn't talk to my husband about it. I was like, no, I didn't do that. He's like, are you mad at me? Like, this thing just, like, almost, like knocked me out. And I was like, no, I got some stuff on my mind. I'm doing some spiritual stuff. So he was like, okay. Because he met that old narc of yesteryear. And so he ended up, I realized, not long ago, hanging it back up. And he hung it up upside down. And I thought that was very symbolic. Because in tarot, we will read an inverse card or a righted card. And what it meant is that it's a reminder, and I'm going to leave it hanging just how it is. I said, did you reinforce it? He's like, yeah, I did. And I didn't even tell him it was upside down. Because I had it where it's like swimming away. But this time it was upside down. And what the energy meant, they said, no, it should stay like that. Because it will never forget to remind you that it symbolizes distortion. And also that karmically, whatever is supposed to happen. Ooh, someone else want me to talk. Karmically, whatever's supposed to happen with that entity will happen, and that you're always protected, and that you will always have an alert, and you will always see it coming. The colorful hair that she had reminds me of the jellyfish, and also all part of the same thing, something you get caught up in, and you get close because it's beautiful, and then before you know it, you're entangled, and you're in pain, and it doesn't even know your name, meaning you're an inanimate object, or you're just a thing floating by, and it's got to eat, right? Have you ever been swallowed? If you have, it causes quite the fright. Pay attention to your animal totems, guys. Pay attention to the people that want to be close to you inexplicably. Pay attention to the people that don't want to put the work into the craft the way that you do, but definitely want the clout and your energy. Pay attention to the people that swear to God they love you, like you and care about you, but don't care about you enough to have an ounce of honesty. Pay attention to the people that don't know what their shadow is, or who their shadow is, or how their currency is, or how they traffic in this world, but want to advise you, undermine you, and criticize you in their own way, and gossip about you, and laugh about you, and do mean girl shit. I have to go bathe in the waters of Minnetonka and purge all of this out of me. And I did. I have begun. It's done. I did it. I wouldn't be talking to you. You know, before you ever share a thing that you've been through, you better be cleaning, clearing, and salting. I didn't think it was that serious. When my angel said, you gotta salt this bitch, I said, I don't really salt a lot of people. Like, I've had some crazy people in my life, and, you know, they're like, no, this one almost got you in a way that you don't even understand. They said, we'll tell you later. We'll show you later. And I don't know what that means. Whenever they say that, it means that something will play out in a way that they'll show me later, and I'll be like, oh my God, girl. I don't know what that means. I don't know. But what they said is, you did what you were supposed to do. You had other work to do. Never let anybody play games with you or underestimate or overestimate their importance in your life. She was really confident, and I let her be. Because when I realized that she was just fucking with me, I said, well, say less. But my angel said, this is how you almost got. So this is what I want to tell you. Get out of there. It's not for you to do. That was my ego. That was like, I see you and I raise you. And my angels were like, no, this is a really dangerous situation. This could have taken you out and really had you waste a lot of time trying to realign yourself. As it stands, because they were talking to me the whole time, I didn't feel as disoriented in the end. I was like, well, I knew it was coming. But when I tell you I was shocked as shit when I saw that octopus. But also I felt so loved when I saw that the shirt was a direct call out to me. That they were like, we were always protecting your energy. We were one call away. We were never going to let her swallow you. And if she did, we were sending in the resources to pull you out of it. Or she would then be swallowed herself. Which is now what she will do. Or whatever the entity will do. Empath, that's another thing. And the last thing. Entities jump bodies to get you. The job is to get you off of your divine mission. No entity wants you, if you have a voice like I do, to be speaking. I don't give a damn about this girl's feelings because she did not give a damn about my feelings all the times that she lied about me. And the entity that's inside of her didn't give a damn about her feelings either. There was something about drinking and other stuff. In the last moments, in the last months, there was something that they were saying was going on. They were showing me a lot of things. I'm not even going to get into it here that were happening with her behind the scenes. They were literally showing me things and telling me things and showing me the truth of what was really going on. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I was not doing readings on her. I wasn't pulling cards or anything. I will tell you, I did have something, Scorpio Spy. I'm going to connect the reading below. It popped up in the last few weeks, and I haven't watched Scorpio Spy in 5 years. The last time I watched Scorpio Spy, I was dealing with my ex, and I was decoding some bullshit with her many, many years ago. She popped up in my feed. This is all the synchronicities. It's not just the octopuses and the spiders and the drama. It's as simple as a reading that might come to you, or a billboard, or a song, and it explains so much. The reading is called Soft Lie, which is a play on the word soft life, L-I-F-E, which is exactly what I think she wanted me to provide emotionally, energetically, spiritually, and maybe even eventually financially. Looking like I got a lick. Well, I said I was fair about what she did and didn't do. Anybody that's going to scam you is going to scam you. It's going to go all the way through. You know what I mean? Eventually, if I would have allowed it. So, Soft Lie. It was such a brilliant reading, and I was like, damn, I haven't watched it in a while since, but I haven't needed to. But I haven't had any characters like that in my life, nor have I had any, incendiary things. If you listen to the reading, you will hear exactly what happened in my situation. Every promise made, every lie made, I'm your equal, yeah, it's me and you, babe. I've been thinking very much that, except she was Diddy for me. I was about to get Diddy Bob. Not in any... No, that's a bad analogy. What I mean by Diddy is the emotional manipulation. None of the sexual stuff at all. That was not it. So I want to be so very clear about that. That was not it at all. But, yeah. Diddy's a Scorpio, yeah. Mind games. Mind games, control, my way. You're just a means to an end, energetically. I'm going to lie right to your face and play games in your face. Very much that energy. Nothing else. Please understand. What I will never do on here is lie. But anyway, go listen to Scorpio Spy. If you're interested, it's been a long ass time. It's a lot. If you just got nothing to do, and speed it up because you can. But the way that she knocked that shit out of the park, I said, goddamn. Anyway, guys, this is why it's important to pay attention to all of the things in your life, the animal totems, all of it, because it has so much rich information for you. And what it means is that you will not have to spend a lot of time having redos or wasting your time. I stopped. I knew she didn't like me. We were not supposed to be around each other, that we had got it. I didn't know till towards the end, to be honest with you, that it was just about the human design. The last exchange we had, even her higher self, if she has one, because girl, I don't know. If she's a tarantula, tarantulas like to burrow. So that's just low, low, low. I don't know. But this tarantula climbs. From what I saw, the tarantula was like up in the terrarium. And I was like, she is a new species. I'm not used to this. I'm used to a certain kind of way, and spider scuttled and whatever. This one comes out to play, and it has pink toes. It's like, look at me. I'm beautiful. Yeah, that part. For sure. Absolutely. Live your best life, tarantula. But the far the fuck away from me. But yeah, she outside. She climbing. Good for her. She's a social climber too. She'll do that. She'll find someone else to siphon off of, and off she goes. I feel bad for, I pity the fool, man. I feel bad for whoever it's gonna be. But what I will say is that tarantulas, Scorpio Spy, watch the video. I don't know, what was I saying? Climbs, species. It doesn't matter what species. It doesn't matter which way it shows up. Is it emptying or filling your cup? Is someone breadcrumbing you? Is it a yes or is it a no? You have spiritual work to do. And it stunts your growth. That's the point of it. Yes, you can get all of the messages out of this, but the point of this is that your angels don't want you to waste precious time. Because I was laissez-faire. It wasn't her fault. I was happy to do it. I think my angels made the best of the year that they could make of it, meaning there was some replenishment that needed to happen for my soul in different ways. So it worked out exactly as good as it could, but that's because I had a strong spiritual team, and I am grounded, and I meditate, and I pray, and I work every day in this, and I still was almost swept the fuck away. Have you ever been swallowed, bitch, by an octopus that wasn't about to play? That was about to take everything, every fucking thing away, and then look at you. The flash out for me, ultimately, was they showed me a That's So Raven vision of her talking to me crazy with indignation and being very much like, it was a nightmare. It was just a nightmare. I won't even say it. It breaks my heart for my future self that almost could have been there. They said that's what's in her. That sinister ass octopus, that's what's in her. This was not a divine counterpart. And divine counterparts can get distracted and they can go off a mission and whatever. This was someone who could never be around you for a lot of reasons. It made me think, God, should I just be alone? Even though I just saw the birds and the pair, and I know I won't be. That it won't be, but that's why they needed to get her out of there. Also, she may have other stuff to do. Like, oh, I know what I was saying. Higher self disembarkation. She had other stuff to do. The last thing, like I was asking her repetitive shit, because I do that anyway. That's just my normal thing. Sometimes I repeat myself. But I was asking her like repetitive stuff. I asked her something I already knew the answer to. And she gave it to me, and I'd answered something back to her and whatever. And I know this because when you block that, it's like, that's it. And the last emoji she gave me was a Wheel of Fortune. And I felt very relieved when I was saying, like, maybe they have other missions. Maybe she's supposed to meet another tarantula that's going to be like her favorite tarantula, and they can just climb and have pink toes together. It's going to be divine. Who knows? I mean, I don't know if it's going to be divine. It's going to be a good time. But the Wheel of Fortune is very symbolic in our connection. I was being upgraded, and it happened right in front of her eyes. I had very strong symbology of the Wheel of Fortune flashing, and light activation happened, and all of that. JJ Activations is a channel that she actually introduced me to. So a lot of good came out of it spiritually for me. But I was getting a lot of activation regarding ascension, and I knew it. I knew it was happening in imagery. We booked a hotel one place, and the light of a Wheel of Fortune, a Ferris wheel, was right in my face, and it was just incredible. So I loved the ending of it in so many ways because I was so beyond ready to disembark. And when I saw the Wheel of Fortune, I was like, even in another realm, let's say where tarantulas and octopi don't exist, it was such a chef's kiss. It was perfect. I was like, say less, sis. Our work is finished. I learned my lesson. She learned what it's like to deal with an earth angel. There'll be some accountability for that, but not any that I'll know about and see. And when I saw that Wheel of Fortune, I said, at last, I am free. All right, guys, that's it. I am freezing, cold to the bones. That's been 3 hours of just loving y'all. A love Jones on you. that was an interesting sword tale about what these angels will do. And what they won't do is have you be caught outside with no light and having the life sucked out of your body. Absolutely not. I love you guys. Come back and join me next time. Please leave your comments below about your experiences about being told and animal totems and whatever you know. And we'll continue to fight these new species, apparently, and evolve. Absolutely. Together.